We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. My guest has created or helped to create a new profession. Carrie Clasby forages for us as consumers and for important restaurants throughout the United States. Carrie, welcome to Here's to Your Health.
Thank you for having me, Josh Lane.
So is that correct to characterize you? You forage, that is, you provide fresh greens and other important items for some important restaurants?
Yes, anything hard to find or forage, anything that tastes great, anything that chefs want to put on the menu or consumers want to eat for their health, I forage.
And how did you begin this?
Well, I was a mother of two little boys, and one of them got a parasite, and so that began my commitment to organic and local, and I began growing our own food, and I ended up at the farmers markets with heirloom tomatoes that I was growing, and the chefs began to buy them, and it all evolved from there. But I was a sort of a stickler for biodynamics and organics because I understood the protection that it affords our own health for my little ones and for myself and for our elderly as well.
You mentioned the word heirloom tomato. What's an heirloom tomato?
Heirloom tomato is a seed that has been protected from genetically being modified, and it's a variety that has been kept down through generations. And it's usually recognized for its taste and color and textures and growing ability. A lot of heirlooms don't last because they're persnickety and they aren't easily able to survive winters or. So heirlooms are usually varieties that we know that are great tasting and that belong in our food system that have been slowly been eradicated.
And so you grew these yourself, these heirloom tomatoes, and you feel that they have a better taste, but they're not available necessarily commercially because they don't maybe ship very well. Is that it?
Sure. The qualities that they have are difficult for the industrial food system to ship all over the country. And a lot of times the specific heirlooms do well in different climates. Mm-hmm. For instance, a purple Cherokee heirloom tomato does very well in our climate, but in back east it doesn't do as well as some of the other heirloom tomato varieties. And coastal climates have certain heirlooms that fit better than others as well. So it's understanding the plant and where it does thrives that makes the local food supply so valuable.
And so what do you do exactly? You have friends who are farmers throughout California, and you visit them, and they say, we have these little Satsuma tangerines available for the next 2 or 3 days, and then you call the guys at the restaurants, and you say, listen, we got Satsumas?
Correct. Well, for right now, I brought a few examples of some of the things that we'll do. Yeah. These are Ojai tangerines. These are called Pixies.
Pixies, thank you very much.
And these will last they'll be great. Available about 6 weeks, 5 weeks. And the tangerines have a cycle. So the last tangerine that I carried, for instance, one of them was called the Kishu tangerine.
What's it called?
Kishu, Kishu. It's an old-fashioned Japanese variety, and it's sweet and petite and seedless, and chefs love it on a plate. So all of these varieties are the varieties that a great chef who wants to give their customer the best tasting product and the healthiest product, these are the products that they like to choose from. That's their palate, if you will, as an artist.
May I ask, can you mention a few names? Which restaurants here in LA or in New York City do you do you send or ship food to or drop food off at the
Sure.
kitchen? Who do you work?
Mario Batali is one of my big supporters, and Tom Colicchio, and David Boulay, and right here in Santa Monica, Fig with with Ray Garcia.
The restaurant in Santa Monica?
That's a Fairmont Hotel, the restaurant Fig.
Fig.
Yeah. And so there's lots of restaurants that the Patina Group supports me. So there's a lot of restaurants in LA who are really concerned with getting the best product for their customers. And so they'll come into my truck, and I'll go out into the fields and forests and find and forage whatever they feel that is best for their palate, for their customers.
So you would say that in 2014, there's a real demand for your services, that these chefs don't necessarily have to build a restaurant as a natural foods restaurant. It's just a restaurant that caters to an affluent client who wants really first-rate tasting product. Is that it?
Well, and the truth is that coincidentally, the best tasting product also happens to be organic. 99% of what I carry and the best tasting product is organic.
Right.
Probably because the soils are being amended with the essentials for glutamates and for the taste things that titillate the taste buds, but it's also the most nutritional food. So these men and women who are chefs that don't have to buy the best product, because I see it all the time in Las Vegas and LA. People come into like Mozza in LA, Nancy Silverton's restaurant, she buys for me. They'll go into these restaurants and they don't really question what's on the menu, but still these chefs are dedicated to bringing the best tasting and the highest quality produce that they can, even though they don't have to. It's a great testament to these chefs.
Well, I guess the chefs recognize that one of the main reasons why they're such popular chefs, besides their skill with recipes, is the ingredients. If the ingredients don't taste good, despite your skill, people think, well, not going to go there again.
And what's happening in our country is that the simplest food is the food that's in most demand. So if you have a tomato that tastes good and you can highlight the tomato with a little burrata cheese, and we have cheese now that's locally being produced. So if you can put that on a plate and put some excellent olive oil and some great salt and pepper, there's nothing more that a human being needs or wants. And that's really the new trend, I think, in restaurants as well.
So you are actually an insider, because can you mention those names? Mario Battaglia, who's he's nationally prominent, is he not?
Mario Batali. Tom Colicchio, who's also a food advocate. Nancy Silverton, who's local. Ray Garcia, who's down at Fig. There's a lot more. There's David Boulay in New York, and I have restaurants in Chicago and Las Vegas, from Robichon to Sean McLean at Sage. And the point is that these men and women who are the top chefs are also aware of their ethical responsibility to our food supply. And in supporting these small local farmers, they're supporting a whole economy that we need to protect. Because without the chefs buying thousands of dollars worth of product from these small farmers, they can't make it. Right. I see it at the farmers markets all the time. Small farmers who, at the end of the market, they have no place to go with their product. And this is product that is so well cared for, so tended.
So what gave you the impetus to do this? So, I mean, we chatted before. Alice Waters, was it in the 70s or the 80s in Berkeley?
Yes. Alice is one of my clients.
Alice. Oh, really?
Yes.
Alice gets a lot of credit for doing natural foods wellness.
Yes.
At a restaurant level without necessarily really calling it that. And she really, and was actually, and also she's been very helpful in the school system too, in California, getting children to eat more nutritious, better quality foods. So she has been very influential. So to some extent, you kind of are picking up the mantle there. You're kind of bringing it forward now.
What's happening is that Alice Waters was one of the first chefs who demanded the best tasting product and understood that the freshest product, it's another element. Scientists have shown that the food degrades, the antioxidant levels of the food goes down after the first hour of being picked. So in our food supply, we're going from Mexico to a cooler in LA to another cooler at a distributor, a restaurant distributor, and then to the restaurant, and then it sits in a cooler. So chefs like Alice Waters recognize that the best tasting food is also the freshest. I go out into the fields, into the forests, into the farms, and pick specifically what the chef wants. So it gets on the table within a day or two. You can't get food any fresher than that. And that's really where we as a nation should be headed, because that's what's going to guarantee our food supply of being the most nutritionally dense and the best tasting too. So it makes it.
And I think the country is really very much moving in that direction. I really see that. Do you also literally forage? I mean, do you, for example, know that on the side of a particular stream or hillside you can find great watercress? Do you actually do that as well?
Yes.
It seems like a nice, fun thing to do, doesn't it? It's
Yes.
a kind of a,
It's great.
Very
but
nice.
The problem is you need rain.
rain, good thing.
Rain
yes.
helps with
Good thing,
watercress.
yeah.
But wild celery and miner's lettuce. And I brought a green that's a very popular green all over the world. It's called portulaca in Spanish, and it's portulana in Italian. And in English, we call it purslane. And if you go all through Southern California, you can see this is growing all over the ground. Well, this is one of the most nutritionally dense and one of the best greens that you can eat. And all of my top chefs love to use it in salads and in braising mix. And you can have some, Josh.
Purslane.
Yeah,
Very
purslane,
nice.
portulaca. Omega-3s, even higher than a lot of fish. So it's the highest omega-3s and we know the omega-3s protect us from all kinds of inflammation. And this used to be in all of our ancient diet and it's beautiful. It grows all over the ground.
Purslane, and I put it in salad, or do I cook with it?
Sure. You can put it in salad. You can saute with it. You can cook with it. I juice with it every day.
Oh,
just
really?
about
Purslane?
every day. Yeah.
I'm completely unfamiliar with the use of purslane, really.
Yeah, it's a great tool to have in your toolbox.
Is it indigenous to the United States, or did it come
Yes.
from Asia or something and you brought it
No,
over?
it's indigenous.
Okay.
It's a weed.
Huh.
And all the top chefs are using it. And you can get it at Mexican markets, but you can also get it at some of the farmers markets. The Ojai Farmers Market, maybe the Thousand Oaks Farmers Market, maybe the Santa Monica Farmers Market. So.
And the whole farmers market, this weekend, I happened on Easter's Day, I was at the Malibu Farmers Market.
Yes.
And that seems like a pretty nice market.
Very
and they're
nice.
doing juicing there and all sorts of very progressive and, in my opinion, very good things. And there was a good-sized crowd there, so I guess people are happy to buy this fresh food now. It's really kind of a trend.
Well, I think what's happening is we're seeing our elderly that are being affected by so many devastating degenerative diseases. And it always comes back. We don't have a health crisis in this country. We have a dietary crisis. If you look at the food supply, even the cornflakes that I ate as a young girl, they're totally different than the cornflakes that we get today. They're GMO modified. There's tons of high fructose corn syrup added to it. So as a country, we're starting to understand that, as Hippocrates said so long ago, that the food should be your medicine. And as we go back toward that in our busy lives, in America we have such busy lives that we don't take 2 hours off at lunch to eat and relax and digest. So we're looking for options where people can make it easier for us. So in LA, you see a huge proliferation of juice companies.
Yes, once again, in Santa Monica over the weekend, there must have been 6 or 7 juice bars, places to buy good fresh juice, on Main Street.
Yeah.
And I have obviously been there before, and I thought, this is actually terribly impressive. So many juice bars, and of course they offer different things. Some are fresh juice, some are bottled juice, some are in plastic, some are organic. I mean, some are using turmeric now, which is a lovely addition. But there seems to be a huge demand, and the fact that you can sell someone a glass bottle of freshly made vegetable juice for $9, $10, $11, $12 a bottle, and people are lining up to buy that,
Yes.
because I've seen that. Isn't there a lovely juice bar right across from that new restaurant, something about, I forget, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting. It's just something about some sort of blessing. It's all in white, and there's a juice bar right across the street, and they were serving juice with turmeric and sweet potatoes, and they were getting $12 for a bottle of it. And when I was there, people were lined up, and I thought, this is a very interesting phenomenon.
Well, the truth is, if you look at a jar of juice and you look at all of the elements that God has put into the vegetables and the fruits. For instance, horsetail is high in silica.
Horsetail. Mm-hmm.
I know you probably know about horsetail. And silica is one of the elements that we're missing in some of our soils.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can go out and take 10 or 15 different vegetables and put them into a juice and be able to drink it, you're guaranteed to be satisfied and fulfilled for a long time. And you're feeding your immune system and your body the elements that it needs to thrive,
right,
not just survive. And it all comes back to that eliminating inflammation so that we eliminate these diseases. And a lot of these diseases take hold 30 years ahead.
Sure.
Heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. These diseases start 30 years earlier.
Sure.
So we all are beginning to understand that that's the most important thing. It's the quality of our life that's important. And that's what these chefs understand as well. The chefs understand that they have an ethical responsibility to put their money where their mouth is, to support that which they feel is the best.
Sure. And I guess they also have a sophisticated clientele in LA or around the country who really wants these things, as opposed to, a cheeseburger. Some people no, we want cheeseburgers. Don't talk us out of that. We want a cheeseburger. And some people really decided, no, they don't really want that. Could you have predicted, say, 10 years ago, that you could walk into Ralph's or Vons and there'd be an entire section in the produce case devoted to kale? Could you have predicted that?
I don't know if I would have predicted it, but I certainly saw it coming.
You did. I myself didn't see it coming. But when I go there now and they have the kale on special organic for 99 cents, it's just quite remarkable. And I'm thinking, this is interesting. Obviously, a lot of people are buying this, or Ralph's or Vons wouldn't devote the section to it. Obviously, people are buying kale. Kale's a big item. It's just kind of impressive.
Yeah, and like anything, you have to be aware of what you're doing. I know that kale also has oxalic acid and some elements to it that are not necessarily healthy in large doses. So it's becoming educated that makes the difference.
Right. So you spent a lot of time in Las Vegas. So you made a lot of contacts in Las Vegas with some of these important chefs?
Yes, the Mario Batali and Tom Colicchio and Sean McLean and Robichon and the chefs at the Wynn asked me to come, and I run a farmer's market in Las Vegas as well. And
that's your farmer's market?
Yes.
Oh, I see. I did not realize that. And now Las Vegas is known as a party town. That's how they like to bill themselves. But I have been told that there's a very big kind of wellness contingent. Surprisingly, I'm not making fun of Las Vegas, but surprisingly in Las Vegas, a town really known really more for, partying.
The dirty little secret about Las Vegas, Josh.
Yes.
Do you want to know it?
Please.
Is that it's a food town.
Oh.
That every top chef who has a restaurant there, the top chefs in the world have restaurants there.
They do. They seem to.
It is the most intense group of top chefs anywhere in the world. And when they open up a restaurant, they attract all kinds of foodies or people that are concerned about their diets. So all the people that work in those restaurants, all the chefs that work for the top chefs, a lot of the executives in the hotels and the convention industry, they're very aware of their health and wanting to eat the best product. And it's very tough to find organic quality local farms in Las Vegas. At my farmers market, we have about 6 of them or 7 of them. We're the only organic farmers market in Las Vegas.
What's the name of your farmers market?
The Downtown Third Farmers Market.
Downtown Third. And what days are you open?
Fridays, right now, Fridays, and we're probably going to be open another Saturday.
And you get a lot of people running through there in the course of a day?
Yes. Yeah, it's great. We have it's like a little club for the chefs, or the chefs' wives and the people who work in the hotel beverage industry to come down and get the best organic product. So one of the things that's great, great testament to these chefs, like Mario Batali and Tom Colicchio, is that in Las Vegas, you really don't need to have organic product on your menu, because the convention people who come to eat at their restaurants aren't really concerned about the local and organics. They're on vacation. They want a steak and they want their the food that they're getting. But these chefs are very committed to doing what's right, and they spend a lot of extra money to make sure that their customers are going to get the top quality product, even when no one's looking. And that's really, a testament to what they're doing.
And they do that because the consumer doesn't necessarily have an agenda. They just want a great meal, but they eat the food and they think this really was a great meal just because the quality of the ingredients was good. The consumers might necessarily think about it, but they know on some level, yeah, that was just a great dinner I had there at the restaurant.
Well, and I think that even if you're aware of it, everybody is aware of the vibe that is in food or in a radio show or a TV show. And so when someone has gone and done the right thing and brought the best that we have to offer to them, and they brought it into their restaurant, there's a vibe that comes, it's an energy that comes off of the food and the chef. If you have a chef that's screaming in the kitchen, like some of the TV shows show Gordon Ramsay, and I sell to Gordon Ramsay, and he's not like that in the kitchen. So, the truth is that kind of energy
That's part of the bit.
It's part of his
TV.
shtick.
Yeah,
And
shtick, yeah.
the thing is that kind of energy will affect the food. And you find that these chefs have a tremendous respect for their craft, and so what they bring on the plate has a beautiful vibe to it. And that's really what happens. People may not be able to verbalize it. They may not verbalize it when they leave a restaurant, why they've had a great meal. But the truth is, it's all about doing what's right. And that's what I do in my business. I go out and find the best product because it's the right thing to do.
Have you introduced any obscure herbs that suddenly people are using now because you found a great source of them and suddenly they're hot?
Well, an interesting product that I carry that you would like is it's called the Livermore walnut.
Livermore walnut, all right.
And Nancy Silverton sells it in her restaurant in Moza. And the Livermore walnut was developed from a group of walnut farmers. And there's a Persian walnut, which is a very small walnut. It's about the size of a very small golf ball. And when you open it up, it has very little meat. But the meat in the walnut of the Persian walnut is red, and it's beautiful, and it's delicious. And the English walnut, which has a proliferation of meat, is very bitter. It has a lot of tannins in it. So these farmers get together, and they marry the Persian walnut with the English walnut.
Huh?
And so the red walnut that I've brought to the market case is tremendous.
Is there a particular name for that new hybrid?
The Livermore walnut.
Livermore walnut.
Livermore, California is where they developed it. So I'm one of the few distributors of it. I have about 4 or 5 of the walnut farmers that have it. But you can buy it down at Moza in her gift shop. The other product that was fun to watch is that in California we're blessed because we have the University of California at Riverside, UC Riverside. And they have tremendous research and development. So a lot of the varieties, like this Pixie Tangerine, a lot of the varieties that we are able to now access at farmers markets and from local farms have come about through their research. And one of the things they developed or they brought in from Australia was called the caviar lime. And
the caviar lime.
Caviar lime. Okay. In Australia, they call it a finger lime. And it is a drought-tolerant plant. And we have strict requirements in California for what products we can bring in. And it takes 7 years to research whether a plant can be brought in and used for agricultural purposes.
I did not know that has to pass some sort of agricultural board in California. I see.
And in California, we're up against the California Agriculture Department is very serious about their job, and we're up against something called the Asian SID, which is a pest that has come in from Asia, and it has devastated the Florida crop. And so
Florida crop of what?
Of citrus.
Oh, I see.
It's a citrus psyllid, they call it, or an Asian SID. So they're very careful about which citrus, especially, they're going to allow in from where. So I was able to help facilitate some of my farmers being a test farm for this caviar lime. And it's a beautiful lime that has little balls of caviar citrus filled with citrus when you cut it open. Oh. So it's beautiful on a plate. It's great with sushi, and the taste is phenomenal. So that's one of the other products that I have been able to gratefully and humbly be a distributor of. So that's been fun too.
That's very nice, kind of break a new product before it was a product.
Yeah, but I found in this business, like, and I think Thomas Keller, who's a famous chef that I sell to, has said there are no new recipes, and there is no new product. There's just the opportunity to be a distributor of it, for an exclusive distributor of it for a while, because the cool thing about human beings is that they proliferate very quickly when money's involved. And so the caviar lime is one of those products that I was an exclusive distributor for a while, but then other distributors and other farmers got a hold of it all over the country.
Well, it's very nice to, break a new product. It's a nice thing. People like your ideas. They, break a new product. I work with Ann Wigmore, and Ann Wigmore, more than anyone else, really I think deserves credit for introducing sprouting. Wheatgrass and also sprouting.
Sprouting, yeah.
So in the 1970s, when sprouting was kind of a joke, and then but by the 80s, you could go to a salad bar in any part of the country and see alfalfa sprouts and mung bean sprouts.
That's true.
You might have you might have thought, I don't really want those today, but you knew exactly what they were, and in your own mind, they were legitimate choices of food. So, and Ann really has to get credit for that. Others as well, but really Ann has to get principal credit for that, and that's a very difficult thing to accomplish. You change people's opinion about what constitutes food.
Yeah, I remember when Ann Wigmore was doing that on Commonwealth Avenue in Boston.
Yeah.
And I remember sprouts becoming the thing. And the interesting thing about sprouting is that that's what a lot of the chefs are putting on garnish on their plates, and that's what they're putting in their salads. And we know that sprouting increases the bioavailability of vitamins like 100 times in the case of vitamin E, I think, right?
It increases vitamin, mineral, enzyme content.
Yeah, it's great.
Right.
It's a great product to have.
How can we get in contact with you?
My email address is kerry@intuitiveforager.com. And you can get in contact with my products at any of the high-end restaurants in L.A. or Las Vegas.
Give me that list of restaurants again that you here in L.A.
Nancy Silverton at Mozza.
And where is Mozza?
Highland and Hollywood and Highland, down on off of Melrose.
All right.
And also I can be seen every Friday at the Las Vegas Farmers Market downtown from 9 to 2 or 3.
And you get a couple of thousand people passing through?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And so people...
A couple of health-minded people.
Right.
Which is really...
So farmers truck their stuff in and set up in the morning and then break down at the end of the day.
Correct. Like the old truck farming.
Right.
Yeah, the way they did it.
And you think that's coming back?
Well, it has to come back because we know that this the industrialized farming, which is bringing product from all over the country, the food doesn't taste as good. So it's going to start with the people wanting food that tastes good. And the only way you can get
food tastes good.
Yeah, food that tastes good. You know, when you go to a deli and you eat those deli tomatoes, those days that people are starting to have a demand for a better tasting food supply. And the nice thing is that's also where all the vitamins and minerals are too in good tasting food.
Right. What about animal protein foods such as goat cheese or sheep's cheese or cow's milk cheese? There certainly are many small farmers doing quality cheeses. Are you working much with that?
Yeah, we have there's a proliferation of the cheeses that are happening, and that's a good thing too. One of the healthiest things that you can eat is like goat whey, the whey product. So that's the other nice thing that's a byproduct of coming around is that we are starting to get healthy. I know it's a lot of health-minded people. They're eating whey proteins that come from New Zealand, for instance.
Right.
But we're starting to be able to get fresh whey here as well. Yeah, so there's some excellent farmers, especially in Santa Barbara County and Ventura County, that are starting to produce. And there's a beautiful goat farm up in Mojave that I'm a distributor of called the Soledad Goat Farm.
Soledad Goat Farm?
Yeah, and they're tremendous. And their products are found all over the Southland. Why do you laugh at
Soledad? I just happen to, I like goat cheese myself. And the question I have, has distributing those goat products, has it affected you in any way? Nah. Thank you very much. It's an old joke.
Yeah.
Well, Carrie Clasby, thank you very much for being a guest on Here's to Your Health. It's been fun.
Thank you very much, Josh. Anytime.
You're listening to Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Josh Lane. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of myself and tell the other women in my life to do the same. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Indian Tyler inviting you to join me beginning April 9th every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Indian Tyler's Beyond the Vanity. Join me as we go beyond the vanity and discuss the real-life issues of beauty. And it gets really real. So on April 9th, don't forget to tune in to Indian Tyler's Beyond the Vanity Wednesdays at 2 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. My guest is the naturopathic physician, Clinton Pomeroy. Clinton practices in Agora Hills, California, and has other offices. Clinton, welcome to Here's to Your Health.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you on the show. And for my listening audience who does not know what a naturopath is or a naturopath, what is it?
Very good. A naturopathic doctor is a medical school trained doctor through a 4-year residential program. Then is licensed after board examinations as a primary care physician. And we are licensed in a number of states, but not all 50.
And where'd you go to school?
I went to school in Portland, Oregon at the National College of Naturopathic Medicine.
In Portland, and that's a 4-year school.
Yes, it is.
And then you take an exam to practice, and you are allowed to practice what? Is it Nevada, Arizona, Washington State, California, those kind of states?
Yes, the western states have licensing that is covered, and then there are a few East Coast states that are licensed as well, and in addition, some Canadian provinces.
What are the East Coast states?
East Coast states, Connecticut, Maryland, I believe, it's just licensed. I just heard about
this. Oh, no
this.
Kidding.
Yes.
Wow.
New Hampshire, I believe. Connecticut, I said, maybe. Yeah.
What about the People's Republic of Vermont? Are you licensed there? No?
Don't think so.
Okay. So why is it that some of the progressive Western states license a nature doctor, naturopath? Is it so? What exactly do you do? Let's say I went to you and I said to you, Clinton, I have a terrible cold. What do you do for me?
Well, naturopathic doctors look at your wellness from the ground up. Mm-hmm. They're not just specifically looking at the symptoms. They're not just simply going to treat you for the symptoms, but they want to try to understand the basis behind why you may be ill in the first place.
That seems like a very good thing. So in other words, you don't necessarily treat symptoms. You say, okay, why do you have this illness? Now, I know that in your practice, you focus on the idea of detoxification of the body. And we hear a lot about the term detoxification. Can you please give me your definition?
Well, as far as detoxification is concerned, it's the removal of things that the body has accumulated that don't belong there. Things like heavy metals or pesticides, herbicides, a variety of things that we're exposed to on a daily basis.
What's a heavy metal?
A heavy metal could be mercury, for instance, and I do work a great deal with that specific metal and directly in relationship to dentistry, and have forged alliances with some progressive dentists to help me in pushing my patients to recovery.
So if you have a patient who comes in and complains of, say, fatigue or some sort of some health problem of unknown origin, you might observe that they have a lot of silver amalgam fillings, which are half silver and half mercury. And you, in your opinion, based on your information, the mercury is problematic?
Mercury is problematic. It has no business in the body whatsoever. It is a metal found in nature, so there is a normal level background level that can be found maybe in the body. But what has happened is that through industry and through medicine, and in many instances as well, our bodies have accumulated these metals, including the mercury and others, in much larger amounts than what we would expect to see on a natural level.
And you feel that mercury is a nerve poison?
Very much of nerve poison. It also damages the cells directly. And you mentioned fatigue. It will help directly shut down the mitochondrial processes, and which are the energy factories of the body, and limiting the production of our natural energy that we would get from not having those metals in place there. They shut down the enzymatic pathways. They shut down the nutritional influences that should be there. They inhibit those from taking place.
And so if a person came to you, say, with a number of silver amalgam fillings, you do what? You refer them out to a dentist who might remove them? Is that it?
That's correct, right. Right, so we're looking for the underlying reasons why they may be having their problems to begin with. Metals are one part of them, obviously, but we're also working on psycho-emotional levels as well. But the referral to dentistry, obviously, I don't extract the metals out of the teeth, so I look for the dentists that are qualified, and we call them biological dentistry. There's other names for them, but somebody who understands that this is a dangerous product that was placed in the mouth, has no business being in there, and treats it as a dangerous product on the removal process.
I've had several dentists on my show who comment on problems associated with the use of silver amalgam fillings, and one dentist just recently on the show mentioned that the New York University School of Dentistry recently tried to state very cautiously that silver amalgam fillings weren't necessarily the first choice to be used for a patient. And the ADA said to them, that's not the policy. If you continue to teach that, we're going to take your license. We won't see you as a degree-granting institution. And when I heard that, I thought, if you go after NYU, which is an important school, then obviously everybody else is going to fall in line. There seems to be a lot of politics involved here, not so much science, but a lot of politics, and they really want to protect the use of silver amalgam fillings. They don't want any kind of change. It's very interesting to see that, and I also was told by the physician who was on that less than 1% of the practicing dentists work without the use of silver amalgam fillings.
Right. I think it's very controversial in dentistry to advocate non-mercury, and they run the risk of losing licenses, and many dentists have lost their licenses as a consequence to it. And certainly that is a big problem. The reach of, big pharma or government that's trying to protect whatever it's trying to protect is alarming.
Yes. What can I do as a person interested in wellness to detoxify the body? There's a lot of talk about detoxification. And what do you do for patients when they come to see you? Obviously it's a big subject, but tell me some of the things that people really need to hear.
Right. Well, one of the big things that often I see, and it's interesting that I see it all the time is people don't drink enough water.
Huh?
They don't drink enough good, clean, pure water that has maybe some natural mineral sources in it. The body detoxifies through the medium of hydration. The comment that I learned years and years ago was that the solution to pollution is dilution. You've heard it.
It's very nice. Very nice.
Not sure if that was Jeff Bland or whoever he.
Oh, Jeff Bland. That's a very nice phrase.
Yeah. So if you're not drinking at least half your weight in body weight as water a day, then you should. That's a minimal.
In ounces, you mean?
In ounces, excuse me. So half of your body weight as ounces of water.
That's the rough rule of thumb you feel is accurate.
I think it's accurate for a healthy individual. For somebody who is toxified or they're not well to begin with, that amount goes up, and it may go up quite a bit. And most of the patients that I do see, brand new, they're usually on the dehydrated phase to begin with. And by just simply giving them enough water, some of their symptoms begin to fade.
And when you suggest for the patients to drink a little water, they should drink what, 8 ounces every couple of hours, something like that? Is that kind of the?
I think it's sipped slowly from morning through the early afternoon, and I usually have them start slowing it down so that they don't have to, be bothered by staying up at night,
Right.
Going to the restroom. So 3 or 4, and I usually have them not drink their liquids with meals unless they need it for swallowing, but just in sips. The reason for that is it dilutes the digestive juices, which you need to digest your food, which is also a really big key piece to wellness, is the food that we are eating.
For those of you just tuning in today to Here's to Your Health, we're speaking with Clinton Pomeroy, who is an ND, a naturopath, practicing here in Agoura Hills. And do you have another office as well?
No, just in Agoura Hills.
Agoura Hills.
Mm-hmm.
You just mentioned not drinking water with a meal because it dilutes digestive juices. Is that a concept that is taught at the school you graduated from?
It is. Yeah, the program that we go through again is a 4-year program, and it gives us an education in the Western sciences as well as many of the natural approaches to wellness, and they're blended side by side as you go through the program. So we're learning all the basic hard sciences of laboratory and clinical diagnosis. At the same time, we're learning about nutrition and acupuncture and herbal medicine and homeopathy.
And do you feel that there's more and more interest in your sense of wellness?
Absolutely. I think the big key limiting factor is knowing that we actually exist. I think people have an idea that they want something better, but that they don't know that it is available to them. And it was much the same way as when I went into naturopathic medicine. I wanted to be a physician. Had wanted to be a doctor since I was a little boy. Was raised by nutty granola mom and stepfather.
So you kind of lucked out there. It was quite a good thing. Mm-hmm.
Raised our gardens and we're farmers ourselves, and got an experience that there has to be more than what conventional medicine offered. And literally in the 11th hour, before I was going into a conventional medical program, I discovered that naturopathic was available, and I did 180 and was in that program within the year.
And you just felt it was just better information.
Instinctively, it was the right way, because I think that we have lost our sense of what wellness is. That we're conventional medicine is at best 20 to 25% effective by their own admission. And that's in the arena of emergency medicines and
they're pretty good.
Crisis convention.
Yeah,
they're excellent. If I get run over by a bus and you see it, please take me to the hospital.
Right.
But in terms of treating the chronic illnesses, they admit that there are failures at that. That's where most of us are at in terms of our wellness, is the issue of chronic illnesses derived from improper lifestyle, improper digestion, improper food intake. And it's what we use as a tool naturopathically to treat. So in many instances, the problems that are created by deficiencies in the right nutrition can be corrected by those same resupply of that nutrition.
Let's go back to the discussion of detoxing. There's a lot of detox programs you see on TV, in book form, magazines. People seem to be into it. Everyone has their own sense of what detox means. What are some of the herbs that you like to use to detox the body, and how they help the body?
Well, one of the big systems within the body that helps us naturally, it's our blueprint of the body, is the liver.
Yes.
And the liver is responsible for detoxifying pesticides or chemicals that do get into the system, as well as the some of the constituents that we find in our foods. If the liver is under duress or it's been compromised in some ways, then obviously, you may not get the full detoxification and removal of those out of the system. So supporting the liver is a big thing, and I usually recommend herbs such as milk thistle or curcumin.
Milk thistle.
Milk thistle can help regenerate some of the hepatocytes of the liver cells once damaged and so forth. It's also a very protective herb for when there is still a large amount of chemicals or toxins still floating in the system. Another herb such as curcumin or turmeric I like to use. It's a great anti-inflammatory herb that does great support for the liver as well.
And now turmeric is very, very popular. Was turmeric popular when you were going to school?
It was, but not as much as it is now. It certainly has grown. And my interest in it, also grew from certain studies, but also from family members whose personal health conditions required some investigation of what would help. In particular, Alzheimer's or some of that. Turmeric is a great herb that can be useful and supportive at helping to...
For Alzheimer's?
For Alzheimer's, yes.
All right. And how can
in high dosages.
How can I use turmeric? Shall I just cook with it? Shall I take capsules? And kind of tell me the potencies and how do I use it?
Yeah,
can I use it every day?
You can use it every day. It doesn't seem to have a toxicity level. I've used it in as high levels as like 8,000 milligrams daily. For
8,000 milligrams? You mean like a 500 milligram capsule, like 16 a day or something?
Yeah, you try to get 1,000 if you can, because obviously that's a lot of pills. It's a difficult herb to absorb, so I usually have patients put it in with some fat, like butter, that would combine with it, and its bioavailability goes up in the presence of fat.
And what does turmeric do for me again?
It's an excellent anti-inflammatory.
I mean,
it
if
reduces
I have like a bad
inflammation.
Knee, if I have a bad knee or something? Or?
It can help that. It can also help reduce inflammation at the cellular level. It can help reduce inflammation in the organs. It also helps reduce inflammation in the brain.
And so inflammation in the brain might contribute to Alzheimer's or heart disease or other circulatory problems.
Yes, it does.
All right, so turmeric is very nice to use. What else do you really like to suggest that people use?
Well, again, going back to the detoxification part of it, I think you have to look at what's in there creating the inflammation in the first place.
Right.
Obviously, metals, pesticides, chemicals that are like prolific in our environment.
Right.
So we have to work from the ground level up. Certainly, most of the patients that I work with are not accustomed to eating well. Getting them onto the right kind of foods for them, getting them off of the wrong foods that they're eating is huge. For instance, a lot of patients that I see are gluten intolerant or just outright allergic to it or sensitivity.
They're sensitive to gluten.
Gluten is a big thing.
What's gluten?
Gluten is a protein found in grains such as wheat.
I see.
And it gives us a tremendous amount of inflammation for people particularly susceptible to it, which induces inflammation throughout the body and can affect, backwards in terms of the effect on the gut and reducing its benefit to getting the nutrition out of the right foods that we want to eat.
Now, this problem associated with the use of grains that contain gluten, the idea's been around for a very long time, but it seems within the past 5 or 6 years, there's been a lot of discussion about it, and people are not poo-pooing it. They're not making jokes about it and dismissing it. There seems to be a lot of interest. Why all of a sudden is there so much problem with gluten in wheat, for example?
Well, I have a suspicion that some of it is the alteration of the food source to begin with, meaning that a lot of the genetically modified foods and everything that are being produced by large food companies in this country and abroad have altered what was food to us. Now it may not recognize it as food. It may recognize it as a pure antigen as a result of the modifications.
So you're saying that, based on your opinion, based on your science background, that genetically modified grain, wheat, could be additionally problematic for the patients who may or may not be susceptible to wheat, and that is it because after all, isn't there Roundup in the grain? I mean, isn't that grain produced so that it destroys the stomach lining of bugs?
Exactly. And that you mentioned like Roundup. It's been genetically introduced into these grains as a pesticide retardant. We are ingesting that. And the problem I see is that we also don't know that we're ingesting it.
Right. Some people just do not know. Dr. Pomeroy, let us say some of the listeners that Here's to Your Health today are listening to your broadcast and think, well, that makes sense to me. I like that information. If I was to stop eating wheat, what can I eat instead that I'm going to like?
Well, I like putting patients, particularly in the beginning, having them go off all grain and just being on organic vegetables and produce, fruits. And depending on the patient, they may require some healthy, organically raised proteins as well. But it's very patient-specific, the work that I do.
Because I can say this: you have a good size. You look like a pretty strong guy. If I was a Hollywood producer, I would pick you to be a cowboy. I mean, you look like a strong guy. So, what do you eat that keeps you so strong?
I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. And
really?
I do.
And you can maintain the mass you have on fruits and vegetables?
No, I also eat some healthy organic proteins.
Such as?
I eat free-range beef and chicken as well.
And that keeps your blood sugar stable and keeps you strong.
Yeah, proteins generally help to stabilize blood sugar. For instance, if you eat a protein in the morning, it for the whole day will help stabilize your blood sugar more so than if you didn't eat the protein.
What's a good breakfast in your opinion that your patients, it's a good idea they would eat for breakfast?
Well, I like making a shake that has a lot of vegetables in it, and then I throw in a couple of raw eggs.
Really?
I do.
2 eggs, and 2 eggs kind of good for a bunch of hours as far as your blood sugar?
Yeah, it does a good job for me. It also helps stabilize blood sugars for a lot of the patients that I see.
I see.
Yes.
What other herb? Well, tell me a few other herbs besides milk thistle and turmeric that you. And no, those are popular in your world. What else can you recommend that people think, yeah, I should really try to eat that now?
Well, it depends on what they're coming in for. I mean, just because an herb is good for something, it may not be specifically,
right.
Necessary for you. For instance, have you had a health condition in your past?
Yeah, I had skin issues as a teenage boy. That's how I got into nutrition. I wish I could say something much more glamorous, but no, it was very pragmatic. I had bad skin. It was very embarrassing. And someone told me about what to eat, what not to eat. And I had never thought about it until the person said, no, it's what you're eating. That's why your skin's bad. And I thought, really? I had no idea. So I immediately made a left turn there and just started eating carefully. And my skin got enormously better right away. And I thought, oh, well, that was simple.
Right. Well, I find that the approach to the patients that I see is more dependent on the foods that they're eating. Herbs, I sometimes don't think much about the herbs in terms, unless it's a specific condition designed for the organ or for the gut. Gut healing, is a big subject.
It is a big subject. Gut healing. Yeah.
Gut healing.
Right.
And a big part of that comes from the foods that we're eating. First, we stop the influx of anything that's negative. And that includes foods that are either an allergen or that are generating inflammation.
And those foods would be, besides wheat, what else is kind of, in your opinion, a problem?
Well, dairy is a big problem for most, unless it's fermented.
What does the word dairy mean? What do you mean when you say dairy?
Dairy, I mean by like pasteurized milks and
Pasteurized cow's milk specifically.
cow's
Yeah.
milk specifically.
So that means yogurt and butter.
When you get into the yogurt, then it has been cultured or it's been fermented in a way that that actually makes it easier to digest. And I find that recommending those helps the gut in a lot of ways, because it's delivering back to the GI system, the gastrointestinal system, the probiotics, the healthy flora that has, in most cases that I see, been eliminated or significantly impaired. So that's a big key thing that I want to make sure that we are addressing is the gut.
And how do you address it? What are some of the things you do?
Once again, like removing improper foods that the patient is eating, focusing on the foods that they are not reactive to. So we may be looking at food allergy testing through a conventional approach, blood testing. I also use a variety of other kinesiological testings to elicit whether it is or isn't a stress response.
What's kinesiology?
Kinesiology is also called muscle testing, and it can be used to demonstrate that there is a stress response occurring from either a food or from supplements or from chemicals or anything that we may be wanting to test.
And muscle testing, was that also taught at the university level?
It was given by a few of select of our professors. And to be honest with you, when I was first introduced to it, I thought it was a hogwash.
Hogwash. Yeah.
But it was because I was not able to get reproducibility.
Which is definitely, as a scientist, you're looking for reproducibility.
Very much
Right.
so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would test somebody, walk out of the room, come back with what I thought was going to be the right thing, retest them again, and get completely different answers. Mm-hmm. Later, once I was in private practice, I was introduced to some other physicians that showed me why I was getting those kind of results and helped correct the failings.
So you changed your opinion now. Your opinion is now, no, this works. This works for my patients.
It works, knowing how to correct for the influences that would cause it to not be correct.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Because muscle testing is used by some practitioners, and there's some discussion about it, so thank you for your position. Now, I read Bernard Jensen years ago. I'm a big Bernard Jensen fan, and Jensen always said bowels are central to good health. Let's say a patient comes here and says, Dr. Pomeroy, I move my bowels like once, twice a week, and that's obviously not good. What are some thoughts you have for that patient?
Right. Well, first of all, we need to understand why they're not having good bowel movements. It could be the diet. It could be an endocrine system issue. I first think of thyroid or adrenals or both.
You mean to tell me someone might not be able to move their bowels because they have problems with their adrenals or thyroid?
Right.
I see. That's interesting.
Very much so. So it's one of the things I will then look at, from a blood test point of view or from a body temperature taking point of view to understand, functionally where they may be from that standpoint. But I work with a group at Therapy Services in Agora Hills.
Yes.
And yoga studios or yoga upstairs. I believe you go there.
I go there.
Yeah.
Good school.
Yeah. And that, so two of the most important people in my practice to help support what I do is a dentist that's biologically inclined and a colon hydrotherapist. The two that I found immediately when I came out here was Dr. Villarreal. He's in...
David Villarreal. Yes.
Yeah, David Villarreal. And Eloise Buckner, who's a colon hydrotherapist in the office that I work in. Helping to cleanse out the gut through those pathways and detoxify helps through colon cleansing, diet modification, and introduction of specific nutrients that both help to heal the gut as well as repair the inflammatory damages that are going on.
Very good. Dr. Clinton Pomeroy, it's been a pleasure having you as a guest today in Here's to Your Health. Once again, how can we contact you at your office in Agora Hills?
Sure. You could go to my website. It's drpomeroy.com. It's Dr. Pomeroy, Pomroy.com. And it has my telephone number and also an email link that you could contact me both ways.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's been fun. You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
Thank you for tuning in to LA Talk Live, reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we're more than just talk. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey everybody, it's your man Sabir Bey, back on your airwaves, inviting you to join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Sabir Bey Show, discussing history, law, and hip-hop. Every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Sabir Bey Show, exclusively on latalklive.com. You also can catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch us and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey, this is James Kenny, inviting you to join me every Thursday at noon for the Business of Business. Join us as we discuss success and how to reach it. Listen, don't forget to join me every Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time for the Business of Business, exclusively here on LA Talk Live. Hey, and don't forget, you can also catch me on iTunes Radio R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio, or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk. Murked it.
Los Angeles beach is greatest. Let's go to the beach. What do you got? Best city in the world. Let's go. Let's head off right now. What do you say? Glad you came. I'm ready, man. I see him over there. Let's do it.
Hollywood. Cali.
What's going on? How you guys doing? Hey. Come on over here. What's up, man? Los Angeles in the house.
We are a winning team, stars and the silver screen. We come from near and far to be with the best. We're Los Angeles, Los Angeles. So open your eyes to the curious skies. You know you're meant to be in Los Angeles. Los Angeles, sand, sea, and sun, a way of life, the ocean. We're laid back, yeah.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. We just heard a song to Los Angeles by my guest, the musician, singer-songwriter Justin Chart. Justin Chart, welcome to Here's to Your Health.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So you have been a singer-songwriter for quite a while.
Long time.
Very long time.
Yes.
Were you in a rock band in the 60s or 70s?
No, I was about 5 years old in the 60s. But in the 70s, I was in college and started playing rock music in the mid to late 80s.
And have you been in some bands that were popular here in L.A.?
I played and toured with some famous bands, yeah. Toured with America, Grassroots, Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Oh, my goodness. Those are some famous bands. And so you tour what? You do musical charts for them? What do you do?
No, I was always the kid in the band because I play a lot of instruments. I play piano, guitar, saxophone, flute, and clarinet. I sing all the high harmonies, so foot pedals, so I'm doing lots of things at once.
Well, Paul Revere and the Raiders, they had a lot of hits, and sometimes they were dismissed as being a little pop band, but they managed to sneak a lot of great songs in there. They never quite got the intellectual press of people like the Kinks or someone else, but they had some great songs.
They did. Have some great songs.
When did you play with them?
Well, this was back, I guess, right around 1999 I was with them. Yeah. So, it was like a reunion tour. Some of the people are still there, some weren't. I was replacement for the ones that weren't.
So you are a session man, is that it?
I'm a singer-songwriter. I did that for a while. I've written songs for a lot of films, a lot of television shows.
Well, how did Paul Revere bump into you?
Through the Grassroots. A lot of these guys all know each other, and you kind of get pushed from one band to another, They kind of.
Well, the Grassroots had a big hit, Let's Live for Today, didn't they?
So Let's Live for Today. They had Sooner or Later, Love Is Gonna Get You, Temptation Eyes.
Right. People always make little jokes about the Grassroots in that, some bands like Crosby, Stills and Nash or the Beatles or the Stones, we know every member. But the Grassroots were always rather an anonymous band, weren't they?
Well, they didn't really write any of the songs is the problem. So
P.F. Sloan wrote their songs.
He did. He wrote all their songs, and he was the guy who made all the money, too. So.
And P.F. Sloan was a great singer-songwriter, wasn't he? Or maybe he was just a songwriter. Was that it, P.F. Sloan?
I really don't know too much about him, actually. I don't.
And when you write songs now, is there anyone that's been very influential that you think, man, this guy really can write a lyric?
Probably myself, yeah.
Yourself? Well, that's very good. That's very good.
Yeah.
For example, when you listen to, say, Leonard Cohen and a song like Suzanne.
I saw him in London at the Hammersmith Odeon back in the early 80s.
Were you impressed?
What he does is great, yeah. I mean, you want to see what he does.
Right.
If you're in the mood for Emerson, Lake and Palmer, not so much.
Right, exactly. Right, that would be a different night out.
Right.
And what about some of the lines that Leonard Cohen has? For example, the song Suzanne. In your opinion as a singer-songwriter, is that just a marvelously crafted piece of work?
I like it, I don't know if I'd use the word marvelous, but I like it,
And what about other singer-songwriters that you respect? Who do you respect?
Greg Lake from Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Really? Why?
I love his voice. I like the way he paints pictures with his lyrics. He's just got a very, very musical, big sense about him, too. It's very orchestrated. It's very big, and it's just a bold sound that I kind of like.
Mm-hmm. And you played with America on tour. They had a lot of dates in the 80s and 90s, too. Is that it?
No, it was just for a year.
So, and you went on tour with them?
I did.
And when you were on tour with them, may I ask roughly how old were you then? Were you about 40 or something?
I was about 30 or something.
You were about 30. So when you were 30 or something on tour with America, it's different than being a teenager on tour, isn't it? It's kind of is it different? Is it just more business-like?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I've never been a teenager on tour.
When you were in your 30s on tour, was it just business? Hotel room, sound check, work, go back to the hotel. What do you do exactly on tour? If I can ask, without getting into trouble on the air.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say. A lot of it's a lot of trouble. So.
A lot of trouble, really.
Yeah. So, how about we talk about what's going on now?
Tell me what's going on now, sure.
Well, this Los Angeles Word has been up a month now on YouTube, and it's just exploded. We're about to hit 2 million hits on it as well. Amazing amount of comments, tons of likes. I mean, it's like 13,000 likes on it now, and just we've got 5 versions of the Los Angeles song up right now. We're closing on 10 million right now, and it's in Spanish and it's in English.
Well, that seems like a good idea, doesn't it? In Spanish, I guess it seems very, very fair.
For Los Angeles,
It
yeah,
certainly
you
does
know.
seem very fair. Now,
You know?
Randy Newman had the songs about L.A., but Randy's songs were always a little bit
Tongue in cheek.
sly, possibly. You
Yeah.
know? And yours is just a song you enjoy L.A.
Well, it's I tried to put a positive message across
Mm-hmm.
about the city that I love. You know, I mean, I think he was making a spoof of the city that
A
he
little bit, yeah.
is not from. You know, and he was talking about women with big breasts, and he's talking about homeless people, and I don't mind talking about homeless people, but he's calling them bums, and that was just offensive to me.
Right.
I wanted to put a good message across, you know, for the next 30 years.
Right.
You know, and do it with different versions, different feels. I'm about to do another one. I'm going to do it in Spanish also. It's going to have a couple of rappers on it, kind of an East LA sound.
Do you see yourself as a composer? In other words, you write this music and you're able to orchestrate it. You direct all the other musicians.
I do. I produce it. I play on them. I sing them. And my daughter plays and sings on them with me.
Did you go to Juilliard or Berkeley? Did you go to school at East Coast?
I went over the pond.
Where?
USIU London.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Do they have a great musical school there?
It was okay. It was good. I studied, and I was thinking about becoming a conductor. But the rock and roll bug bit me, and as soon as I got back here, that's what I started doing is playing.
When you were a child, did you play piano and things?
Started when I was 5. My mom is an opera singer, and so I had that all around the house.
Oh, an opera singer. So you really understand a trained voice.
I really do, yeah. You know, I don't. I have a trained voice. I don't use it a lot on my pop tunes. Although I just wrote a song for my daughter Tali, and we used 15 vocal tracks. It's huge. Sounds like the Justin Chart Choir, and I got to use
The
it.
Justin Chart Choir?
It does, yeah.
Is that you and your daughter as the entire choir?
Oh, actually, no, it was just me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I sang. Yeah. She didn't want to even hear it until I finished it. She was very excited, and you know, it's a beautiful song.
Are there elements of that excellent training that you can use in a song that the audience will enjoy?
You know, I first I try to please myself, and then others. You know, I have a certain sound that I like, and I, you know, gravitate to that. But I'm always trying to learn and move on a bit.
Did your mom also give you voice lessons too? Or did you take voice lessons in school?
I took some when I was a kid, but pretty much self-trained with that. You know, I mean, I learned how to do it, you know, when I was in school and just practiced a lot. My mom was a classical kind of player, you know, and I was more into the rock side of it. But she actually did 2 duets with me on one of the albums I did in 1995, and I was 2 songs. She nailed them on the second take, and she was in her 70s then. And I mean, she could sing at the Staples Center without a microphone, so she had some pipes on her.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why when we started this interview and I said Leonard Cohen, you're probably thinking, well, he's a great songwriter, not necessarily much of a singer, because he kind of talks. Because if you have all this training with understanding opera, Leonard Cohen really, his voice is not his strong part there.
No, that's not what he's noted for. No.
No, he's just great with lyrics.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Right. All right. That seems very interesting. And you are right now, you said you were involved with some film recently here in LA, doing some scoring for some films?
No, I've done it in the past. I'm not doing that at all now. I'm just working on the Los Angeles project right now. That's my only focus right now. I'm writing and recording some other songs for a CD that I'll be doing, but pretty much just working on the Los Angeles project.
And is YouTube now just one of the venues where you can just become huge in a new way that you couldn't do 15 or 20 years ago?
I don't know. I mean, I have friends on there, and if they have 500 hits over the last 5 years, they were lucky on
They're
that.
happy,
I mean,
yeah.
well, they're not happy. They wish they had almost 10 million.
Right.
But I don't know how it happened, and it just it did. And I'm thrilled about it.
People just like the sound.
I think they like a lot of things. I think they like a positive message for a change. I think they like kind of, you know, the songs they stand on their own, but visually I kind of capture just some really great parts. And I go all through LA. I mean, I'm in Whittier, I'm in Watts, you know, I'm in Malibu, you know, I'm just all over the place, and I'm just showing a city that I think is beautiful. That is the reason why people come here to live. You know, I mean, we have everything here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, actually, I think it's a great city, too. I like Los Angeles. One of my observations about Los Angeles, because I'm from the East Coast, it's the only city where I've ever traveled where when you're shopping or you're walking around, people are busy checking you out. They want to see, oh, is that Keith Richards walking by? One of my friends was shopping, I think, at Whole Foods in Fairfax or something, in the frozen food section, and on 3 separate occasions, she saw Sidney Poitier, which is very much amusing. You know what I mean? It's just,
Sure.
You're shopping, and there's Sidney Poitier. And I've seen Tom Hanks and his wife shopping, so it's just, that's one thing you get in Los Angeles regularly that you don't really get in, say, Boston, for example.
Yeah, they're here. That's why that's why they moved all the studio here back a long time, because the weather is optimal over here, and we have the beaches, we have the mountains, we have the desert.
Right.
I mean, it's all right here. So I just felt this city needed something to stand for, someone to stand up for it. And
have any of these city officials, any city fathers and mothers contacted you and said, Justin, we happy with your song?
Oh, I've got tons that I've had people tell me I should run for mayor. I should become the ambassador. I mean, I've got hundreds and hundreds of comments like that.
Great.
Yeah.
And where do you see it going for you?
I see it being adopted as the official song for the city of Los Angeles, and just something that can make you take pride in the city. That's kind of what I want to do with it. I want there to be some more pride. I'm trying to bring it together. They asked me why. A few people have asked me why I sang the Spanish song and didn't have a Latin person sing it, and it was because I wanted to bring us together, not separate.
Good for you.
So that's why.
And you have a good voice.
That's what I'm told.
That's very good. And what about working your daughter into the act? What is your daughter doing?
Well, my daughter on the latest video, Los Angeles Word, is playing keyboards, and she's singing background vocals. And I'm thrilled to have her on there. She's part of my band, at this point.
And she works for Scale?
yeah, she does. Yeah.
That's very good. That's very good.
She's pretty good about that.
And where did your daughter go to school?
She goes to school out here. She goes to private school, and probably she's not going to say it on the air, but because she's got tons of fans as well.
I see.
So, I got to protect her.
Right. So she's going to take over. She's going to take over from Britney Spears and
you never
Miley
know.
Cyrus very shortly, and
that's a possibility.
That sounds very, very good.
We'll see where she wants to go with it, but I think she's enjoying it, and people are enjoying her, and the band is really nice because we're one of the comments is there's old, young, man, woman. It's multiracial. It's just we've got everything in the band that shows, which is what LA is.
Right.
It's very diverse.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So you're a little bit like Sly and the Family Stone, just a lot of different people getting together.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's 5 of us, but I mean we're all kind of really different. And it seems to really work. And on Los Angeles Latin, which was my dance Latin version, I have a 17-piece salsa band. I just call it Justin Chart and the Angelinos. We've got a full horn section. And some of the guys I played with in college, and I've known for years, high school, and, and I just got them in the group with me. And it's also very diverse sound.
When you work, so you are a musician, but also you are a conductor. Is that you're going to conduct, right? In other words, you can call the musicians, you do all the charts, you tell them the sound you want.
I do.
And do you find that it's hard to herd musicians? It's like trying to herd cats. The musicians, are they kind of not so much punctual?
Well, it's true, but it's nice being the boss,
It is nice being the boss.
It really is. So when you're the boss, that's what you do,
And you get the sound out of them, as long as they have.
I get the sound out, or I move on. That's what I have to do. I want to get what I envision in my mind, and I want it to come out, and it always does.
That's great. And where can we contact you, by the way?
Justin at justinchart.com.
Justin at justinchart.com.
Right.
Okay. And what song, Shakim? What song are you going to play out for Justin at his entrance, as exit rather? We have a song.
We Rock the World.
Okay, so we're going to play that song right now. Justin Chart's new ode to Los Angeles in several versions.
We rock the world.
Got the world, very nice.
Takes us
vibration, adrenaline is circulating. Never look back to get to first place. Take you with us, we rock the nation. We accept no compromise, and this is how we fight. That's right. And now the questions are you in? 'Cause you know we're here to win. We rock the world. We rock the world. We rock the world.
That was Justin Chart with his new work, We Rock the World. Justin Chart, thank you for being a guest today on Here's to Your Health.
Thank you for having me.
It was fun.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
You're listening to Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of myself and tell the other women in my life to do the same. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey everybody, it's your man Sabir Bey back on your airwaves, inviting you to join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Sabir Bey Show, discussing history, law, and hip-hop. Every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Sabir Bey Show, exclusively on latalklive.com. You also can catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch us and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey, this is James Kenny, inviting you to join me every Thursday at noon for the Business of Business. Join us as we discuss success and how to reach it. Listen, don't forget to join me every Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time for the Business of Business, exclusively here on LA Talk Live. Hey, and don't forget, you can also catch me on iTunes Radio R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV radio, or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk. Murked it.
Hi, this is Indian Tyler inviting you to join me beginning April 9th every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Indian Tyler's Beyond the Vanity. Join me as we go beyond the vanity and discuss the real-life issues of beauty. And it gets really real. So on April 9th, don't forget to tune in to Indian Tyler's Beyond the Vanity Wednesdays at 2 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Starlet Quarles, and I'm inviting you to join us every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for a new show right here on LA Talk Live, The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People. Join us as we discuss the topics that are relevant to today's generational leaders. So don't forget to tune in to The Dialogue, Real Talk, Real People, every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. My guest is one of my series regulars, Kate Tart. And Kate Tart is the beauty expert for Derma E Cosmetics. Kate Tart, welcome to Here's to Your Health.
Happy Earth Day, Josh.
Happy Earth Day. Fun to have you on.
Thanks.
And Derma E is a great company. They've been around for a long time. They were one of the first companies to use vitamin E therapeutically, which is
one of the first natural skincare companies to use topical vitamin E in skincare products.
Right.
Yeah, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. It's great because the same two people that founded our company are the same two people that own us today.
Very good.
Yeah.
And of course, when vitamin E first came out in Derma E products topically, some people might have considered that very controversial. And I think it's nice that 30 years later, people just accept it as that was a good idea, and Derma E was one of the first to do it.
Yeah, we've come a long way. So in our 30 years, we started off with a couple products. Now we have about 90,
right,
ranging in facial care and body care. But yeah, super amazing, just really great natural skincare products for the whole family.
And since you come on very regularly, always bringing new products, these sunscreens, these are pretty new, aren't they?
Yes, and they're absolutely my favorite. I, as you can tell, am very, very white.
Yes, you are.
I try to do my best to stay out of the sun, just because I know that the sun damages your skin. And so I've tried a million different kinds of sunscreen in my life, and I can honestly say that these formulations are fantastic. What's great about these particular sunscreens are they are a physical block, so it's not using any chemical sunscreen agent. It's a zinc oxide, and it provides SPF 30 broad spectrum protection. And the particular kind of zinc that we use is a sheer formula. So you're not going to get like the traditional surfer nose from normal zinc. It's not going to leave that white, pasty, thick appearance on the skin. It actually disappears into your skin. So you're getting this great broad spectrum protection from a sunscreen agent that's very, very lightweight in texture. We also blend high potency green tea and vitamin green tea and vitamin C in both formulations. So you're getting that antioxidant protection, protecting from free radical damage. The kind of zinc that we use is non-nano, so you don't have to worry that it's going to absorb into the bloodstream. It's totally safe for kids and infants. They can even use them. The products themselves are fragrance free. They are hypoallergenic. They're dermatologist tested, sensitivity tested, coral reef safe, which I know is a big selling point for natural sunscreens. And then one for the face. So we have a body and a face. The face one is oil free. And so women, if they're using it during the day, they can put it on underneath their makeup.
Well, you seem to have everything covered. I mean, all the things that people are interested in, or that actually are progressive, that you teach people that are valuable, you seem to employ them.
Yes, all of the products that we make, because it is Earth Day, I should probably mention, the Derma-E itself is very, very active in its participation to really minimize the carbon footprint. Everything that we make is offset by 100% wind energy. The packaging can be recycled, so it doesn't necessarily have to end up in landfills. Everything is vegan and cruelty-free. We try to make very clean natural products, so we're free from parabens, phthalates, sodium lauryl sulfates, mineral oil, lanolin. So we just try to make really clean products, natural products that offer visible results.
Now, on this sunscreen, SPF 30, 30 is that's plenty. It's like wearing a raincoat outside. Is that plenty?
That's a really great topic. So when you're talking about sunscreen, the difference between 15 and 30 is probably really only the most significant. Anything over 30, it's very, very, very nominal. So when you're talking about SPF 15, you're protecting your skin between 92 to 94% of UV rays.
A 15 gives me 90. That seems a lot.
Some people say 92 to 93, others say 93 to 94%. So that about 93% of the UV rays you're being protected from. When you're getting into an SPF 30, about 97 to 98% of the UV rays you're being protected from. So that's really the main difference. And then anything over 30, that 97 to 98% change doesn't really move that much. So if you're using a 45 or a 50 or a 60, you're still only being protected from about 97 to 98% of the UV rays. So there's still about 2% of the UV rays that are getting through. That's why, kind of funny thing, if you wear sunscreen religiously but you're still out in the sun, you can still get freckles because that 2 to 3% of the sun's rays are still getting through.
I see.
But it's better than not wearing sunscreen at
right.
all.
And if someone is working as a lifeguard or doing construction out of doors, you need to protect the skin.
Yeah, absolutely. Skin not only causes skin damage and skin cancer, but many people don't think that along with the spots and the freckles that you get from the sun actually breaks down the collagen and elastin, kind of the structure of the skin. So the sun is a contributing factor to facial sagging, facial wrinkling, and kind of just the aging that's caused. If you look at a person who's stayed out of the sun for their whole life, not only are they going to have skin that's not as freckled and speckled, but you can visibly see that they don't have as much facial sagging and wrinkles as somebody who has been out in the sun, because the sun breaks down the collagen and elastin and it causes sagging and wrinkles. So it's another great reason for staying out of the sun. You're not only going to have, beautiful porcelain freckleless skin. Not the freckles are bad, but you'll also save your skin from premature wrinkles and facial sagging.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And when I use this SPF 30, let's say I go out at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I put it on right away. I put it at 9, and then a couple hours later I put it on again, or every hour. Or how often should I do it?
pretty much all sunscreens you want to reapply after 2 hours. It's kind of counterintuitive, but sunscreens are actually photo unstable, so they break down in the presence of the sun. And so that's why you want to reapply every 2 hours, because the efficacy starts to degrade after about the 2 hour mark. So even if it is an SPF 30 and you can stay outside in the sun for a couple, for 3 or 4 or 5 hours, you still always want to reapply every 2 to just make sure that you're getting the most protection from the sunscreen ingredient. And especially if you sweat or in the water, you'd want to reapply too.
And what do I put on my lips if I'm in the sun? I put the sunscreen on?
No, probably wouldn't recommend putting it on your lips. There are sunscreens that are built into lip balms, but you should probably make sure that you're getting the broad spectrum UVA, UVB protection, because most lip balms only have UVB protection, protects you from burning. So you just want to make sure that you're getting a UVA, UVB protection in your lip balm.
Is that a problem, people with lips? Is that a problem?
More so at higher altitudes, people who ski or who snowboard. I see a lot of people with damaged lips because they don't think about applying lip balm protection or sun protection to their lips. Same thing with your ears. You always want to make sure that you're protecting your ears because that's super thin skin.
Right. Right. And also, so if I use the sunscreen, should I also be wearing a hat if I'm going to be outside for a couple hours?
It's always a good idea. Cover up. Make sure you have sunscreen on.
Too much sun, not a good idea at all.
Yeah, I mean, and that's for pretty much every ethnicity. Just because you have darker skin complexion, just because you have more natural melanin, doesn't mean that you can't age and doesn't mean that you can't burn.
Right. Right.
People forget. They think, oh, I'm tan, I don't need sunscreen. Actually, you do, just because your skin is more protected than mine, because I'm, and I don't have any color. You could still damage your skin and burn it.
Well, no, we want to keep what we got. What are these all new items too?
The facial wipes are also new. What's great about these, again, because it's Earth Day, is these wipes are 100% environmentally friendly. So they are manufactured in a solar-powered facility. So they are made with solar energy. The actual fiber of the wipe itself is compostable. So you can throw it in your compost pile and it will biodegrade within 12 weeks. And then the outer packaging is 100% recyclable. So once you're done using the plastic pouch and then the little boot that it comes in, you can throw it into the recycle bin instead of the trash. So it's very eco-friendly. What's great about facial wipes is they are very portable and they're great if you don't have access to a sink. So say like if you're going camping or if you're going hiking or if you're traveling and you want to refresh your skin on the go, you want to take off the makeup or the sunscreen or the dirt or oil or debris, you can use a facial wipe if you can't cleanse your skin like a normal cleanser with a sink. We have two. We have a hydrating product, and then we also have one for acne-prone skin. The one, the hydrating facial wipe, you can also use to remove your eye makeup, so your eyeliner, your mascara. You can use it to remove a lip stain. And it will thoroughly cleanse your skin if you, again, don't have access to the sink. The one for...
Is there vitamin E in that? What's in that?
It's hyaluronic acid, maki berry. There's cottonseed oil, which helps to really soften your skin and break down that makeup. And then the very clear wipe, this is for acne-prone skin. I love to recommend these for, like, after the gym. I throw them in my gym bag. Teenagers really like these because sometimes they're lazy and they don't always want to wash their face. So I give these to moms, and I recommend them to moms, to say just, have your teenager keep it by the bed at night, and before they go to bed, just kind of make sure that they wipe their face off, and that way it just helps to protect them from getting blemishes. The very clear wipe has salicylic acid in it, which helps to gently exfoliate the skin and unclog the pore. So great products to recommend if you're like an on-the-go person, if you're traveling a lot, if you're again hiking, camping. They're just a great alternative to traditional cleansing.
And so I can use those a couple of times a day.
Yeah, you can use them as many times as a day as you want to. They're alcohol-free, so they're not going to dry out your skin.
And those are pretty new from Germany.
Yeah, they're brand new. They just launched last month. Same thing with the sunscreens.
Okay.
Yeah, and then because it is, we are going into the spring and summer months, I also brought the Evenly Radiant products, and the Evenly Radiant are to brighten the skin. So people that are concerned with like sunspots, freckles, age spots, they can use the Evenly Radiant products. They both contain high spectrum or high potency vitamin C. So that will really help to break up existing pigmentation. And then there's also ingredients that Dr. Oz loves to talk about, specifically bearberry, plant stem cells, alpha-arbutin, niacinamide.
Wait. Let me go.
Yeah.
Did you say bearberry?
Bearberry. So within the Evenly Radiant line, it's a hydroquinone bleach-free brightening skin system. So it uses therapeutic botanical ingredients to actively break up existing pigmentation, but also help to prevent new spots from forming.
Are we talking about what is sometimes commonly called liver spots?
Yeah, liver spots, age spots, sunspots, hyperpigmentation, they're kind of all in that same family, basically under the umbrella of just sun damage. And so the whole Evenly Radiant line was developed for brightening the skin, evening out the complexion, breaking up existing sunspots, and helping to actively prevent new ones from popping up in the future.
Okay, excuse me. So Kate, so those of you just tuning into Here's to Your Health, we're speaking with one of my regulars on the show, Kate Tart, educator for Derma E. So this is a brightening serum. So if I put it on my face, is this makeup? I just look better. It's kind of it's makeup or no?
No, it's not makeup. It's a skincare product. It's like a lightweight version of a moisturizer. A serum is just like a lightweight version of a moisturizer in the Derma E world.
This is for men and women.
Yes.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah, everything that Derma E makes is unisex, with the one exception, which is our makeup product, our BB cream. So yeah, if you use the Evenly Radiant line, within about 3 months, you'll start to see a visible change in your skin. You'll see your age spots will be visibly reduced. Your skin will become a lot brighter. The vitamin C is obviously going to help with brightness and reduce dullness. But the cleanser I brought, just because it's one of my personal favorites, I wear a mineral foundation, and the Evenly Radiant, even though it's sulfate free, foams a lot, and so it removes all traces of makeup, my sunscreen, my eyeliner, my mascara. It takes it all off with one cleanse, and it smells really refreshing, like a citrus. And then the serum is our most popular product within the Evenly Radiant line. It's very, very lightweight. You can use it at night. You can use it during the day and your makeup. And again, that's unisex. It's great for just targeting existing sunspots and preventing new ones from popping up.
So you mentioned that in about 3 months, it takes 3 months to see results. I mean, that's the usual amount of time.
Yeah, it's your skin typically regenerates itself within 28-day period, and it becomes a little bit longer as you age, but generally the skin kind of renews itself every 28 days, and you want to give your skin a couple cycles to see visible changes. And so 2 to 3 months is usually a good benchmark. 3 months is the best. Pretty much with any skincare trial, it's usually like a 3-month marker, because you will see visible, noticeable changes within that period of time. And that's across the board, whether it's Derma E or something that you get at the department store or something that you get from a local drugstore. 3 months is usually kind of the golden time frame.
Because people do need to know, okay, if I'm going to use these Derma E products, what can I expect and when? So now we know, okay, 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And what about for hands? Can I use the same thing on the hands that I use on my face or something? Or?
Well, we do have a hand. We actually have a couple of hand creams. We have a vitamin E hand cream that launched not too long ago. It contains full spectrum vitamin E. Again, going back to our heritage. So we use both tocopherols and tocotrienols. And I also brought along the body balm, which I'm recommending now to use after sun exposure. It's just great because it will help to replenish the skin, give the skin back essential vitamins, moisture, especially if you've been at the beach all day, if you've been hiking all day and you're just a little bit overexposed from the sun. The topical vitamin E application is really, really great to help replenish the skin and keep it at a nice, healthy balance so it doesn't dry out or become dehydrated.
Once again, go back to Dr. Oz, who really is people do listen to Dr. Oz. So bearberry, that grows in California, doesn't it? It grows on the West Coast?
I'm not sure where bearberry grows, to be honest with you. I just know that...
Is there another name for that? Is that Oregon grapefruit?
Bearberry? I want to say it's it's possible that it's from uva ursi, but I can't
All
be
right.
sure. But bearberry is one of the ingredients that is in the Evenly Radiant, along with a whole host of other ingredients. I mean, if you look at the back of the Evenly Radiant serum box, it's just like the list is this long. But even though there's many ingredients in the formula, our formulator, she's a doctor of Oriental medicine. She doesn't believe in putting a teeny tiny minute percentage of an ingredient in any of her formulations because
Good for her.
because she doesn't if you're going to put a percentage of a percentage of a percentage of an ingredient, it's not going to do anything for the skin. If she's going to use vitamin C, she's going to use it. So all of our products use active percentages, and that's
Is that a technical
across.
term? Active percentages? That's kind
Yeah,
of therapeutic.
active percentages, potent percentages, and that's for the vitamins that you will use, the antioxidants that we use, the botanical ingredients. If we're going to use an ingredient, we're going to put enough of that ingredient in our formula to make a difference.
Yes, that has been a criticism of a number of supplement products that I've seen and cosmetic products in natural food stores for many years. And in the profession, people always make jokes about those products and call them a little sprinkling of fairy dust.
Yeah.
You know, 2 milligrams of dandelion or something, which is completely. It's not that dandelion isn't great, but 2 milligrams will really do nothing. And some manufacturers insist upon making formulations that are just, let me just say, marginal. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
and some skincare companies do that because they want to have the benefit of calling out that ingredient like on the
Yes.
front of the package,
Right.
like this features this ingredient, but when in reality it's the second from last ingredient on the ingredient panel, which means there's basically nothing of that ingredient in the formula. Our formulator does the complete opposite. Just like, for example, she uses green tea in a lot of our formulations, and she puts a lot in the formulas because she knows that green tea will help to protect the skin from free radical damage. And that's, I think, just her background in Oriental medicine. She just really knows the power of harnessing natural ingredients, and she wants to be able to harness that ingredient to where the skin will benefit from it.
Green tea is considered anti-cancer by the U.S. government, I believe.
Yeah, it's good internally and externally. In fact, about once a week I use the matcha. How do you
matcha,
matcha powder, and I just mix it with hot water and a little honey, and I use it as a face mask.
Oh, you put it on your skin? Oh, I see.
Yeah. And then obviously, drinking green tea is incredibly healthy for your skin. It feeds your skin from the inside out, keeps your skin nice and bouncy and hydrated. So yeah, green tea is kind of one of those gold standard antioxidants, and we use a lot of green tea in many of our formulations.
And you also mentioned hyaluronic acid. You have some products with hyaluronic acid?
Yeah, we have a whole line of products that contain hyaluronic acid. It's kind of one of these miracle ingredients for the skin. You can take it internally, and there's a lot of people that take it internally for lubricating ligaments and joints. But when you apply it externally, hyaluronic acid is an ingredient that when it attaches to water, it basically suspends the water on the surface of the skin. It actually prevents water from absorbing into the skin. It kind of instead lets water sit on top of the skin. And then when you mix hyaluronic acid with an emollient like an oil or a vitamin E, it kind of traps that water on the surface of the skin. It prevents the water from evaporating. So it's this miracle ingredient that is continuously feeding the surface layer of skin with water and prevents the skin from drying out. And so for people who suffer from really dry or dehydrated skin, they always want to look for products that contain hyaluronic acid because it will just continually keep their skin nice and moist and plumped and bouncy and soft and hydrated. And we have a whole line. It's actually our best-selling line, and it's called the Hydrating Line by Derma E, and all of the products feature high-potency hyaluronic acid.
Because I also, you use it in tablet form, and let's say you have a, bad knee or back or neck or something, you take hyaluronic acid, and pretty quickly, depends on the person, you think, oh my goodness, my neck is better, my hips are better, my back is better. It's great for structural issues.
Yeah, it's good. It's like a lubricant from the inside out. It helps to attract water internally to help lubricate that joint or that ligament or muscle.
Let me ask you a question that's somewhat of a broad question. Now, Derma E sells very well in the natural foods outlets. It sells very nice. It's been around for a long time. Do you feel that your company and other wellness companies have had big effect on Estee Lauder and others, because they seem to be more and more and more heading in this direction. More and more they have abandoned some of the things they were doing and then going more and more towards cleaner ingredients. Am I wrong?
Yeah, there are some similarities. There are some mainstream companies that are paraben free, and they're doing away with like using mineral oil, but there is a large difference between a truly natural company like Derma E and your traditional Estee Lauder or Clinique or like your Mary Kay or Neutrogena, because I mean, and I can't speak for all natural companies, and I don't know enough about the other companies to say, but natural skincare companies like Derma E go through a lot more heavy scrutiny, because we are labeled a natural skincare company, so we have to make our products very clean and very safe, but also very effective. And for example, pretty much, I'm not going to say everything. There are a few products that I wouldn't use, but pretty much everything that Derma E makes, even kids can use, because they're so safe and they're so gentle and they're so natural. And we use a lot of naturally derived ingredients like the botanicals, like the natural antioxidants, all of the vitamins that we use, again, in the high potency, high percentages. I don't really know enough about your mainstream skincare companies. If they're kind of going more towards the natural route, they'll use naturally inspired, which means that they'll use like 1 or 2 antioxidants, but the back of their ingredient deck will still be filled with like PEGs and parabens and mineral oil.
All of which, in your opinion, Derma East sides, we choose not to use those.
Yeah, we can't. I mean, yeah, if you're a natural skincare company, you just can't use certain ingredients.
Excuse me, mineral oil.
Mineral
Dries
oil
your
is
skin?
one of them.
Dries your skin?
No, it's just a
Clogs it?
petrochemical. It's just kind of a no-no ingredient. We can't use any type of like
Oh,
bleach.
mineral oil is petrochemical? I did not know that.
Mhm.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Okay.
We can't use like bleach. If we're vegan, in which we are vegan, we can't use any like honey or lanolin, which by themselves are great ingredients, but we can't use them because we're a natural skincare company. So yeah, most kind of broader stream skincare companies will be naturally inspired, but they're not truly natural. That's kind of answering your question.
It is. Yeah, very much answering my question. What else have we not discussed? Oh, we have the vitamin C.
That's my favorite cleanser.
Can we talk about vitamin C?
Yeah.
So, what does vitamin C do for me?
Oh my God, vitamin C is, well, number one, it's an antioxidant, and we know that antioxidants, when you apply them topically, will help to defend the skin from free radical damage. And free radicals are the villains of life. They cause structural damage, they cause cancer, they cause aging, they cause deterioration within the body and externally. And when you use antioxidants, which are the heroes, it really helps to defend from free radicals. And so vitamin C, along with vitamin E, are probably like the 2 main stars of the antioxidant world with regard to vitamin antioxidants. Vitamin C is really great because it helps to brighten the skin, it helps to break up existing pigmentation, lighten the skin, and really also vitamin C encourages collagen growth, so it will help to make your skin a lot firmer if you use high potency vitamin C.
And again, this is your area of expertise. Anything I put on my skin, you absorb. So you want to be cautious what you put on your skin. That's why I guess mineral oil is not a great thing to put on the skin.
Well, mineral oil within itself is not bad. And it's a very debatable ingredient. Some people love it.
It makes the skin dry, doesn't it?
It can. It's not a hydrating ingredient. Any oil, and there's a misconception. If you put an oil on your skin, it's not hydrating. It's going to defend the skin from drying out, but as soon as you wash an oil off, your skin is still dry. When you mix an oil with a hydrating ingredient, that's when you're getting the best benefit. But an oil by itself is not necessarily incredibly hydrating. I know this from experience because I've tried every oil under the sun on my skin, and as soon as I wash it off, my skin feels dry again. So mineral oil within itself is not necessarily a bad thing. There are people that swear by mineral oil, especially internally. But from a natural standpoint, it's not the best ingredient, and there are much safer natural alternatives to like a mineral oil.
Now, this vitamin C lotion, you mentioned some of the ingredients in here
Mhm.
help, brighten the skin. And one of the things that helps really brighten and what's the word you use? Diffuse, or what does it do again?
Even out the complexion.
Evens out the complexion.
Mhm.
So vitamin C is one of the important components there to help
Yeah.
even out the complexion.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
when people have blotchy complexions,
Or dull skin, vitamin C
Dull
is
skin.
one of the main ingredients that they want to look for because it will literally brighten their skin. And then I also, speaking of the vitamin E and Derma E, we have the collection of the vitamin it's called the Intensive Therapy Vitamin E Body Care line, and it features the full spectrum vitamin E. And Derma E is actually the only natural skincare company to harness full spectrum. So we're using all 8 forms of the vitamin E. And we source the vitamin E naturally from cranberry seed oil and sustainable red palm oil. And so it just really bathes the skin and softens the skin. Again, great products to use after sun exposure. Better than like just your traditional aloe vera, which is good, but it's not necessarily hydrating and replenishing enough. When you apply a product with topical vitamin E, it will really help to and not only soften the skin and keep it moisturized, but also help to prevent the skin from peeling or drying and flaking as well. And aloe vera is not hydrating enough to do that.
I see. Okay.
So great products to use after sun exposure. And also because it is just a traditional great heavy body moisturizer, you can put it on your knees, your elbows. You can use it as a hand cream if your hands are really dry, the bottoms of your heels, even totally safe for like kids and babies because it's so natural, very, very safe.
so now you have an entire line of the intensive therapy vitamin E's.
We have a body balm, we have 2 body lotions, and then we have that hand cream.
And I could, and are they to some extent, are they interchangeable?
I'm sorry?
Are they interchangeable on the body? Like, can I put a hand cream on my heel or something?
Oh, yeah, of course. And then with regards to where you can find Derma E products, we're obviously sold online. You can visit us at dermae.com. And it's Earth Day today, so your whole order, if you order online, it's 25% off. So definitely take advantage of that.
Well, that's very nice.
You can find us at Lassen's, Whole Foods, Sprouts, the Vitamin Shop, or just any natural grocer, natural health food store.
Okay, and give us your contact information, for Derma. How can we go direct?
Sure. It's dermae.com, so it's DERMAE.com, and you can find us there. And we have a wealth of information about our ingredients and kind of our philosophy as well and our history. So check us out there.
Well, Kate Tart, it's fun having you on the show.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you
It's
very
always
much.
so much fun.
Thank you. You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. My guest has been one of my series regulars, Kate Tart of Derma E, and you're listening to Josh Lane, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of myself and tell the other women in my life to do the same. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Hey everybody, it's your man Sabir Bey back on your airwaves, inviting you to join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Sabir Bey Show, discussing history, law, and hip-hop. Every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Sabir Bey Show, exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You also can catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch us and listen directly at LATalkLive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Indian Tyler inviting you to join me beginning April 9th every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Indian Tyler's Beyond the Vanity. Join me as we go beyond the vanity and discuss the real life issues of beauty. And it gets really real. So on April 9th, don't forget to tune in to Indian Tyler's Beyond the Vanity Wednesdays at 2 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, Radio Flag, and AHA Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey, this is James Kinney, inviting you to join me every Thursday at noon for the Business of Business. Join us as we discuss success and how to reach it. Listen, don't forget to join me every Thursday at noon Pacific Standard Time for the Business of Business, exclusively here on LA Talk Live. Hey, and don't forget, you can also catch me on iTunes Radio R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio, or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com, where we are more than just talk. Murked it.
Hi, this is Tim Alexander. I'm the filmmaker that gave you Diary of a Retired Black Man. I want you to come and join me every Thursday at 5 p.m. for my brand new show, What Would My Daddy Say? Yep, I have a show where I'm going to stand in as your father because so many people grow up without a father, and they need that fatherly advice because mothers say things a little bit different. This is a call-in show, so I'm going to help you with all those messy situations. That's every Thursday at 5 p.m. What Would My Daddy Say? Exclusively on latalklive.com. Real Freedom Radio, where we can say what we like. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio. Or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk. And Daddy's home.
Hey y'all, I'm Shaquem Williams, and I'm the host of The Shock Factor here on LA Talk Live. We broadcast to the world every Friday at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Live music, live performances, we're just live. Chef Momo, Life MC, Diana, and once again, your host, Shaquem Williams. So come join us every Friday here at LA Talk Live, the world-leading broadcasting internet radio station. The Shock Factor. The Shock Factor. Come join us on The Shock Factor.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. My next guest is Joe Lamb, who has the Healing Tree in Thousand Oaks, California, right on Thousand Oaks Boulevard. I've been there. And Joe and his family work together to teach ideas of healing. And Joe, welcome to Here's to Your Health.
Oh, thank you, Joshua.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you having us on here.
And so now at your facility, you work with what? Herbal teas and herbs and healing modalities. Is that it?
Yeah, well, we have two parts of our business. My brother is an herbalist at the tea shop. So when people come in, he gives consultations. They have all sorts of ailments and things like that. And people kind of want to go away from the route of, pills and surgeries and things like that. So they're trying alternative methods before they get into that.
Right.
So they come see my brother, and he diagnoses them. He gives them a reading in terms of like feeling their pulse, looking into their eyes, their ear, their nose, their mouth. And from that, he's able to determine what's going on inside, internally with them. So from that, based on the thousands of years of traditional Chinese medicine, he's able to prescribe herbs that are very natural. It's safe, it's effective. They take a little bit longer than like pills and things like that. But people report back several weeks later that their issues have cleared up.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And so we know that herbal teas taste great, and we know they have therapeutic benefit. Green tea is considered immune-enhancing, anti-cancer, so says the U.S. government. So you've been at your Healing Tree shop in Thousand Oaks. You've been there about 6-7 years now?
It's going on 10 years now, actually.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Oh, my
so
goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, it's a local little community. There's really nothing like it in that area in Thousand Oaks. So people are really drawn, and a lot of word of mouth in terms of, somebody goes there, they've either tried a tea that's just boosted their energy or helped them sleep or any other issues, and then they refer other people there. And it's very personalized what my brother does there as an herbalist.
And what kind of teas do boost energy?
Well, one of our popular ones is Rhodiola Lychee Lift. And that one, it's just, it's almost like magical. You drink it and you feel it. And it's not like an energy drink or things like that where you start to feel jittery. It's almost like a smooth energy that kind of like props you up and gets you going. And it's hard to explain unless you try it, so it's one of those things.
So that's a combination of rhodiola, rosa, and other herbs. Is that it?
Yeah, my brother is the one. He's the one that formulated that. So for me in my division, it's more of the bamboo charcoal products for the self-warming. That's kind of more of what I deal with. And my brother's is all the tea and herbs.
Now on the bamboo charcoal, that seems like a very, very new concept. And something that probably most people have never even heard before. So, and you're one of the few people actually who's introducing this. What is bamboo charcoal?
Well, bamboo charcoal, I'll explain the process of it. We take bamboo from a sustainable forest. Mm-hmm. We fire it in a kiln to nearly 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit for up to 2 weeks long. And what comes out is a bamboo charcoal powder known as black diamond. And from that, we put it into our fabrics. So we mix it and pull out the strands, and we make supports, like joint supports for your hands or for your knee, back supports, and we even put it in soaps as well. So the main thing about it is when you wear the product, what happens is it activates with your body temperature. So it is a natural technology, and what happens is it starts to warm up. And most people can feel it within a minute. And we have people on video saying, wow, 30 seconds, and I'm already feeling the warmth.
Excuse me, Joe. So
yes.
Right now, some audience probably can't see that. So is that made of bamboo and cotton or just bamboo? What is that made of?
Well, it's almost 50% bamboo charcoal.
Uh-huh.
And some of it is rubber, latex, mainly because it needs to be able to support as well. So it's a bit stretchable, so I mean, if you want to try it, you can feel for yourself.
May I ask you, are you one of the few people in the United States working with this bamboo charcoal?
Yeah, my dad was he was traveling in China a few years ago. It's about 3.5 years ago, and he was introduced to bamboo charcoal in a seat mat, and there was little pockets.
A seat mat in the car.
A seat mat, not in a car.
No,
it's completely different. It's just pockets of it with an outer covering. And when he asked about it, the people over there were saying, oh, yeah, this is very widespread over here. And he tried it out, and they were telling him all the benefits about it. So he decided to bring some back, introduced it to some people here to get feedback because he still didn't understand what it was all about. And the reports they were giving him were people were getting better sleep. So there was a saleswoman who said that I had the best night of sleeping in the last 20 years with this seat mat.
Wow.
Another woman detoxed. She completely sweated and soaked the entire thing through. So there's a lot of other benefits to it that I really can't share because, FDA purposes and things like that.
Don't want to go to jail. Is that it, Joe?
Well,
No
essentially,
problem.
So
We get it here. We get it.
yeah. Well, I mean, we want to be in for the long term, So the main thing about our bamboo charcoal products is we say that it is self-warming. So when it activates with your body temperature, the warmth, it's the heat therapy that provides the blood circulation. It relieves achy joints due to aging, reduces inflammation after workouts, increases mobility, flexibility. It even absorbs odor, sweat, and toxins. So we have socks as well. So when people go hiking, you go camping, their feet are not going to get stinky or smelly, and they're going to be energized down there as well because it's absorbing everything. Bamboo charcoal is very porous.
And then can I throw this in the laundry or no?
Yes.
Oh, I can. I can wash it. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. There's no recharging. There's nothing to plug in. It will last you for the rest of your life as long as you take good care of it. And that's really what we're all about at the Healing Tree. We want people to have an alternative to what's out there in terms of the pills, the chemicals, things like that. You take a pill and it dissolves. You get the benefits. There may be some side effects, but with bamboo charcoal, we found, especially with all the scientific research, there are absolutely no side effects. The only side effect, and it's not that bad, is it may dehydrate you a little bit if you have a lot of it surrounding you. And the interesting thing is, some countries will actually have tablets of bamboo charcoal.
Really?
You can eat it, and what happens is it absorbs a lot of the toxins in your body, and your body cannot process it because bamboo charcoal powder is already in its end state. So it kind of clumps all of that together, all the toxins, and then releases it. And actually, I found something in Japan once where it was Doritos. They had actually put bamboo charcoal into their chips. And the reason is because the people of Japan, they're more well-versed about bamboo charcoal, and so they wanted that in Doritos. They like Doritos as well. So they were getting a health benefit out of that as well.
Well, that's actually very interesting. Good Lord. For those of you just tuning in, we're speaking with Joe Lamb of the Healing Tree in Thousand Oaks, California. And Joe's family, they will work together, brings in this bamboo product, which is very new. It's called Blackened Charcoal.
Oh, it's bamboo charcoal.
Bamboo charcoal. I'm sorry,
Yes,
bamboo charcoal.
yes.
And so, has this been popular in Japan and China for a while, and we're just hearing about it now, or have I just missed out on the past 10 years?
You're correct about that. It's been much more widespread over there, and my dad is one of the first ones to really bring it over here and to really bridge the gap between the Eastern and Western cultures, and it's something that really brings you back into nature and helps you reconnect with yourself because of all the benefits that are involved. Even just having bamboo charcoal just sitting in your home or your office, what it does is, because it's 4 times more porous than wood charcoal, it's highly absorbent. So it'll take in a lot of the airborne pollutants as well. So you don't have to breathe it. And then what you do is, especially with our products like the supports or with the seat mats, it's not recharging it, but you can renew it by putting it out in sunlight maybe once a month for about an hour or so. And what that does is it releases.
Excuse me. So
Sure.
what do I put out for the bowl of the bamboo charcoal I put out for a month? Put out for an hour?
You can do that, or any of our products in terms of, because we have it embedded into the fabric of our supports, knee supports and all that, or blankets. So what happens is when you put it back into sunlight, it frees up all the toxins and releases it back into nature. So it renews it. So there are scientific studies. Any of your listeners can go online and research about bamboo charcoal and all the many benefits. And I'm only touching on about 20% of all of this.
Excuse me. Let's say I'm wearing the bamboo socks. So if I'm an athlete, do I get a little bit of benefit, you think? Can it improve my performance in some way?
Oh, definitely. It's definitely great for recovery, muscle performance. You can, especially with our Bamboo Pro line, it's something that you can be worn at home, work, play, sleep. It's extremely comfortable.
Excuse me, if I wash them, should I wash them in cold water?
You can, yeah, we have the instructions in there. Preferably cold water, but if you wash it normally just with your clothes, that'll be fine too. It is very durable as long as you take good care of it. But the main thing that we're all about is for the recovery. It's for the self-warming and the natural relief. We don't want our products to be like a crutch for people. And most people who have used them, they report that, I don't need it anymore because I'm fine now. Unless there's something else that happens to them, another issue, then they wear it again. So again, it's something that you can just keep using, reusing for as long as you like, and you never have to recharge it. Nothing to plug in. It's portable. It's easy to use, and very affordable as well. So.
Well, actually, it seems very interesting. And as the world becomes more and more international, ideas from other nations that are scientific, and maybe China and Japan are ahead of us in this area, suddenly it shows up in America and people embrace it if it works for them. So it's actually very impressive to introduce a product like this to the United States. It seems like a very nice thing.
Yeah, well, thank you. And that's why my dad wanted to bring it over. Again, it's just that having that alternative to everything else that's out there, And something I want to share on a personal level with your listeners is that whenever you make a purchasing decision, and this is separate from our products, okay, to keep in mind, because we have so much advertising from companies to say buy this, buy that, and all these things, that before you decide what you're going to put into your body, what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, what you're going to put onto your skin, what you're going to listen to, ask this one question, which is, will this enhance or deteriorate my body? And that definitely bears repeating.
Seems fair. Right.
So again, before you consume something, ask, will this enhance or deteriorate my body? Because most people already know that certain sodas with high fructose corn syrup, all of that, are bad for you, but yet they still drink it and they can't help it. So asking this question will help reset and kind of get you back to center and remind you that what is the best thing for your body.
Right. Right. That seems like good advice, and I think most people would listen to it and think, yes, that's good advice that Joe's mentioning. People might think, well, I'm still going to drink that Mountain Dew, but I'm listening to Joe anyway. What is this Achy Paws? What is that actually?
Oh, Achy Paws is, we introduced it last year because we put the bamboo charcoal in all of our other products into the socks, Bamboo Pro, joint supports. So the funny story behind this is that in the seat mats that we have, people were buying it for themselves. But what happened was their dogs and their cat would start using it.
Really?
And then they'd be like, I have hair all over my seat mat now.
Right.
Can I buy another one? My pet needs one, so I need one for myself. I got to keep it separate. And so my dad decided, okay, why don't we try something that's just for pets, something that they will like, and just customized just for them. So our Achy Paws line, we have 5 different sizes. It's a white pet mat. And depending on the size of your dog or your cats, of course, are probably going to be getting the small size. It provides, of course, the natural warmth for the natural relief and achy joints and all these things. And we have reports from customers that say, they swear, they say, there must be catnip in this. Because you know what? I started opening it, and my cat jumped up, grabbed it out of my hands, and started rolling around in it.
Oh, my goodness.
And then another customer says, well, I got it, and my dog has been sitting up for 3 days straight now. The only time he gets up is to use the restroom or to go get something to eat, and he gets right back on it.
Wow.
And we're like, wow, we've got something here now. So there's a lot of reports now with this particular product, and and it's 3 layers as well, so it's very comfy for them. So the inner layer is 100% bamboo charcoal, and the outer layers are fleece. And we were told by someone that white was one of the best colors, even though once they get on it, it starts to darken and all that. But they're very drawn to it. Animals have a very intuitive sense of what's good for them, just like how they're intuitive about certain people that they like or they do not like. So
Right.
would you agree with that?
As far as I know, yes. For those of you just tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network, we're speaking with Joe Lamb. Joe and his family own the Healing Tree in Thousand Oaks, California, on Thousand Oaks Boulevard. And the family has brought over these bamboo charcoal products, which are very much new, very much kind of a new technology. And how can I buy these from you, by the way?
Oh, we have a website that's healingtreeproducts.com.
Healingtreeproducts.com. Okay.
Yes, and one great thing we wanted to do, just to show our appreciation for you and also for your listeners, we're giving you a whole bundle. We have a gift basket for you.
Great.
That you can take with all of our products. But for your listeners, what we're offering is a special promo. If you go to our website, healingtreeproducts.com, you can enter in a code, which is LA Talk Live. And what you get is whatever you order on our website, we will give you free shipping, plus we will give you a free bar of bamboo charcoal soap. That's our best-selling soap. And what that does is draws out all the toxins and dead skin cells in your body, and it lets your skin breathe again. The first time that I used it, I noticed a significant difference in my skin, and I was like, "Well, this is kind of strange,"
Really?
you know. And now, I mean, I use it every day on my face, my body, and I even put it in my hair. And what I found that it was kind of like it almost like thickened my hair a little bit and
Really?
added more volume to it.
Sounds good.
It's very strange. So I don't even use shampoos. I don't use conditioners anymore because they have the fragrances and they have like certain chemicals and dyes and all of that.
Sure.
So again, if you go to our website, healingtreeproducts.com, you'll see everything there. Order anything you like. And this is for the first 100 customers, the first 100 listeners who you can either call in to the number on our website, or you can just order with the code LA Talk Live at checkout. So again, you get free shipping. You get a free bar of bamboo charcoal soap. The shipping is normally $4.99. The soap is $3.99. So
a bar of this soap is $3.99. This is a green tea soap with bamboo charcoal.
well, we have three different soaps.
Mm-hmm.
So that one that you're holding is the green tea soap, and that's rich in antioxidants. And I don't have to explain much about green tea and the benefits, because in Japan, they're one of the longest living individuals in that country because they drink green tea almost after every meal. And so there's a direct correlation between that. A lot of studies have been done for that. Sure. So what we decided to do is to put it, if it was good for inside of your body, we felt, why not for the outside of your body, for your skin? So what it does, it actually helps protect in terms of fights free radicals that bring about early aging. And it's very nourishing, gives you that healthy glow, and has a rich lather as well. So, and the second one is the bamboo vinegar soap. And that one is interesting because that is created from the condensation of the bamboo charcoal manufacturing process. And a lot of people, when they look at it, they're like, oh, vinegar, and they're thinking it's the regular vinegar that's out that we have. Mm-hmm. But it's nothing like that. It shouldn't even be called that. Okay. Because with the process of extracting it, what it is it comes out as a liquid form. It's something called a polylignic acid. So it has 400 organic compounds that are derived in it. So it's used in deodorizers, it's used in food processing, it's using cleaning agents. And again, there's no side effects. It's very healthy for you, and it draws out a lot of toxins as well. And people even put them in foot pads. So when you put it there, it pulls out a lot of things from your feet. So in your feet, it's more prone to extract a lot of the toxins. So and I mean, we don't make any health or medical claims with it, but typically the people who tend to use it, they have problematic skin. So it's like they have psoriasis, acne, eczema, things like that. And they say it helps. So so we're glad that it does something for them.
Okay, very good. And once again, these two soaps, the green tea and the bamboo vinegar, these retail for $3.99.
Yes, yes. So with the promo today, LA Talk Live, with the free shipping, your listeners are getting an $8 value. Even if they go to our website and just order like one soap, that's $3.99. So they're getting $8 value with this. So they'll get a second soap because of it, or they can explore and see whatever else they like. The last soap here is our most popular, and this is like people love this. We introduced it last year. It's the bamboo charcoal soap, and again, I can't express enough about how it draws out the dead skin cells that have actually been accumulated over the years in our bodies. Because in our environment, we have chemicals, we have the smog, we have all sorts of things.
Unfortunately, in LA, we do. Yes.
Yes, yeah. So our pores just absorb all that and trap that in. So to reverse that, if you use bamboo charcoal, it starts pulling all of that gunk out and freeing up your skin. And when that happens, your skin is able to naturally re-moisturize itself. And again, I just urge people give it a try.
Sure,
it's free for the promo code. So.
And so your entire family works at the Learning Tree. Is that it? The whole family kind of runs. It's a family operation.
Oh, the Healing Tree.
Healing Tree. Healing Tree.
Yeah, pretty much. So.
And so people. And what's the address exactly?
Oh, if they want to go to the tea shop, because we just opened up a new office as well in Camarillo, but for the tea shop, they can go to 2711 East Thousand Oaks Boulevard. Mm-hmm. So again, that's 2711 East Thousand Oaks Boulevard, Thousand Oaks, California. And you can search online for the location as well. So,
and what's your phone number?
The phone number for the tea shop is 805-497-4438.
Are you open 7 days a week?
We are, yes.
So everyone works all the time. Keeps you busy. And if I go in there, so I've been in your shop, but you have many different types of bulk tea, and then you can help me put together a formulation. Is that it?
Yeah, my brother will help you with that. Yes. I mean, actually, the first thing that will happen when you walk in is you get a welcoming tea.
Oh, it's very nice.
So it's the tea of the day, and you get to try it, and then it's a very easygoing, relaxed environment, and you're able to go around and open up the jars as well to get the scent of the teas. We have an entire wall that's just dedicated to tea from around the world. And any questions you have, I mean, aside from my brother, there's also Patty who works there, and she's very knowledgeable as well about the teas and the herbs.
So your shop is actually pretty unique. Is it kind of a blend of something that I might see in China and the United States? Is it just simply an herbalist shop?
Well, it's more than an herbalist shop, because most herbalist shops, they just do the consultation of checking out the eyes, the tongue, the ears. This has the tea as well. This has gift products. This has teapots. This has even our bamboo charcoal products there. So it's kind of a blend. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a hybrid.
Blend. It's your own hybrid of it all.
Yeah. So.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you feel that since you've been there now the 10 years, that people are just much more alert to what you're doing? They get it when they go in there?
I think so. It depends on who's walking in there, to be honest.
For sure, yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of people haven't been introduced to acupuncture and all of that. So when they walk into the store, I mean, it's like a little hideaway. It's a little discovery, and some people, because of the way my brother is and the way that he trains the people that are there, people come in and sometimes they just need an ear to listen to,
True.
Whether they're going to buy anything or not. It's like, they just want to talk and share what's going on with their lives as well. And, that's just the way the environment is in the tea shop. It's very welcoming and.
Well, Joe Lamb, I'd like to thank Joe Lamb of the Healing Tree in Thousand Oaks, California. Thank you for being a guest today on Here's to Your Health.
All right. Well, thank you, Joshua. Really appreciate it.
You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Josh Lane. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of myself and tell the other women in my life to do the same. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Hey everybody, it's your man Sabir Bey back on your airwaves, inviting you to join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Sabir Bey Show, discussing history, law, and hip-hop. Every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Sabir Bey Show, exclusively on latalklive.com. You also can catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch us and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to the Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Joshua Lane, member of the board of directors of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Hippocrates Health Institute, Josh Lane was part of the Dr. Ann Wigmore team that brought wheatgrass, sprouts, and raw foods to a worldwide audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. My guest, Archie Scott, has been a guest on Here's to Your Health before. Archie Scott, an athlete as a young man, is widely known for his understanding and therapeutic use of DMSO. It's a great pleasure for me to bring Archie back because he's one of the influential thinkers on wellness that I know. Archie, welcome to Here's to Your Health.
Very glad to be here, Josh.
Happy to have you back here. Now, for the listening audience, many people, of course, have heard the term DMSO, but they might not be able to quite place it. What is DMSO?
DMSO is dimethyl sulfoxide. It's a natural product derived from trees. It's a byproduct of paper making.
I see.
And it has been used medically for a little over 50 years. Before that, it was also used as a preservative for transplant organs, which is also one of its current uses.
No kidding.
But it has use for either by itself or in combination with other medications in the treatment of practically every ailment known.
Now, you said, so DMSO, it's derived from wood pulp.
Yes, it is. It's derived from wood pulp.
And it's currently being used, you said, to help with organ transplants?
Well, it has been from the beginning. When it was first started used medically, Dr. Stan Jacob up at the Oregon Health Sciences University was the first one that used it medically as far as officially, and he was using it originally to preserve transplant organs.
Wow.
And that's still one of its many uses. But it's used in the treatment of ailments ranging from arthritis and athletic injuries to cancer, mental retardation, stroke.
Wow,
Just about every ailment.
Now, so as a young man, you were a marathon runner, were you not?
Yes. I competed in marathons. I competed in other races. I also played football. And I had the reason I got involved with DMSO, I'd been injured. I had both knees had been injured.
Mm-hmm.
And I was training for the trials for the 1964 U.S. Olympic team. And I was introduced to DMSO at that time. And I found that it helped my knees. And then I got involved with it much bigger. I got involved with various doctors, and I've been consultant to various medical clinics, mostly in the United States and Mexico, but some in other countries.
Now, let us say someone injured their knees. How do I use DMSO? Do I use it as a liquid? What do I do? Tell me.
Yeah, you apply. It's something that can be used a number of ways. Originally, it was used topically.
Uh-huh.
Now it's used topically. People drink it. It can be injected either intravenously or intermuscularly.
No kidding.
It's got a wide range of uses. There are some of the cancer clinics use it in combination with either chemotherapy or Laetrile, and it's proven very effective. It reduces, like with chemotherapy, it reduces the toxicity and makes the cancer cells more susceptible to the chemotherapy. So what you have is something that is less toxic to the body and more toxic to the cancer cell.
That seems very good.
Yes.
Let's go back to a simple use. Let us say that you and I are listening to this broadcast today, and Here's to Your Health, and we're runners, and our knees hurt. So what do? I put a little capsule in my palm, and then I put it right on my knee. Is that it?
Yes. You put some in your hand and rub it on your knee, and it provides relief. It also promotes healing. One of the things about DMSO, it's anti-inflammatory. A lot of the anti-inflammatory drugs have side effects.
Right.
And DMSO does not have these harmful side effects. So you can use it over a long term. A lot of the non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, for example, will give you immediate relief, but they will damage the enzymes that help produce cartilage.
Right.
And DMSO does not do this. This DMSO is completely non-toxic. You apply it on your knee, as an example,
mm-hmm.
and it helps promote healing as well as reducing the pain.
Okay, so let us say that I am a runner, and I think to myself, oh my goodness, I kind of hurt one knee or both knees. So I use the DMSO, what, twice a day, 3 times a day, once a day? How should I kind of use it?
I would use it a couple of times a day. Usually what you'll do is before you go out to run. Of course, if you have a major injury, sometimes you have to stay off of it.
Right.
But if it's not something where you have to stay off of it, why you apply it before you go out to run. Now, I still run.
Really? Really?
Yes. At 77, I compete in some of the senior events, some of the shorter races.
Do you win?
Well, I have won, yes, even at my age. I don't compete. Well,
77 it's not that old particularly, but to be running in competition, that's cool. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've quit playing ball, except I do play football with the great-grandchildren.
Uh-huh.
And
do you beat them?
Well, I can sometimes, the
Right.
younger ones.
Right. That's good.
But I use a product that contains DMSO before I do any strenuous exercise.
Now, is DMSO, it's very valuable to use for wounds. And when I buy DMSO, should it always be in glass bottles?
It should be in a dark glass bottle.
Why is that?
Okay. The DMSO is a very active substance.
Mhm.
And you don't want to have plastic in your body, for instance.
Right.
Some of these plastics are very inert, but it still should be, I believe glass is the way you should do it. And the reason you use a dark glass bottle is that sunlight will tend to break it down. So you use a dark glass bottle. And the DMSO will keep for many years.
It will.
Yes,
So
for
it's like
40, 50 years.
No kidding.
If
in a
it's kept in a a cool, dark place, why, it'll keep a long
So
time.
when I buy DMSO in glass and I put it on a bad knee, and I
Yes.
leave it in the glass bottle, I don't have to keep it in the refrigerator.
No, you don't. Yeah, you use, like, say, a 90% solution, a 70 to 90% solution. 100% is sort of strong on the skin and can cause some minor skin irritation. But you can get it in 90%, 70%, or if you get 100%, you can dilute it down.
And if I buy a 70%, what am I diluting it with? What is in it 70%? What's in it? Water?
Water.
Oh, just water.
Just water, yes.
I see.
Usually it's just water.
And you kind of think 70% is better than...
Well, 90% is what I prefer generally, but 90 or 70, those are good.
Alrighty. Now, the topically applying DMSO, I understand that. Who would drink DMSO? And if I was to drink DMSO, how much is it good for me to consume per day?
Okay, what I usually recommend is that if a person is drinking it, they start off with a half teaspoonful in a small glass of juice or water.
Half teaspoonful. Okay.
Yeah. And after they find that it's okay for them, why go up to a teaspoonful in juice or water. The juice usually will hide the taste better than water does. That's the reason for using juice.
Right.
But it's you use this for a wide variety of problems. You can use it for, let's say that you have stomach problems, maybe ulcers.
Right.
Which is an extreme example. There's Dr. Salim did some major studies on digestive problems. And if you're using it for a digestive problem, why I would recommend using something like aloe vera with it,
I see.
which is also good for the digestive system. If you're using it for, say, a urinary tract problem, you put it in cranberry juice. And you can use it for a wide variety of problems. Myself, I use it basically every day.
Just as a preventative, you feel
as
it's
a
like...
preventative, what I do, whenever I'm going to run, I put it on my feet and legs. I also brush my teeth with DMSO.
What's it do for you?
The reason I do that, I want to keep my teeth.
Right. Might as well keep them right.
Yeah. And it will help prevent gum disease and tooth decay. It doesn't take the place of going to the dentist, but it does help. And so this is one thing that a person can use it for every day.
Now, DMSO continues to be known, but it's not necessarily something that everyone knows about, even though it's been around, has a history of use for a very long time, and it's used medically. What's the downside to DMSO?
The only real downside for DMSO is the breath odor. It's sort of a garlic-like breath odor. Now, this is something that it's basically, in my opinion, a healthy odor because garlic is healthy.
Right.
And The odor can be reduced with chlorophyll or anything containing chlorophyll, like parsley or anything like that. It won't stop the odor entirely, but it will greatly reduce it. The odor only lasts for about 24 hours. And of course, it's the strongest right after you use it. And you have the odor whether you drink it, inject it, or apply it topically.
Right.
Now, that brings up another point, that when you apply it topically, you don't want to have anything harmful if taken internally on the surface of the skin.
Such as?
Such as rubbing alcohol.
Rubbing
That's
alcohol.
a good example of something you don't want to have on the surface of the area where you're
Why?
applying it. Because it'll take it into the bloodstream.
It acts as a carrier.
It acts as a carrier,
All right.
yes. And you don't want something like that in your system.
All right.
And DMSO is something that basically, in my opinion, everybody should have access to it, especially the older people. There's a lot of older people with, say, for instance, arthritis.
Yes.
And DMSO is one of the best treatments there is for arthritis. And there are several reasons for this. It's a natural painkiller. It's anti-inflammatory. It's also a free radical scavenger. And I think that one of the leading causes of arthritis is the free radicals. Now, this was for a long time just a theory, but there was a study done down in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, at a preventative medical clinic, where they did an actual study on the free radical activity of arthritis. And this is a clinic that had been using it successfully for a number of years. And they found that reducing the free radicals helped with the arthritis. And so this was a rather interesting study that was done in Sao Paulo, Brazil, at this preventative medical clinic.
It's nice to have these kind of clinical trials that prove your information. Now, because you are an athlete, and I'm sure a lot of people in LA certainly, and around the world, but in LA know you and see you competing, have you convinced other athletes that indeed the DMSO helps them and that they're using it?
Yes, I have. And of course, they have been using it for a number of years. It was used, it's been used by athletes for the last 50 years. And I have convinced others. There's one retired football player that was a well-known player that was suffering from brain trauma,
right,
chronic traumatic encephalopathy. He's been retired for over 30 years, and he was having some problems, and he has been greatly helped with injections of DMSO, and he's received
injections.
Yes.
Injections. I see.
Yes, this can be topical. It can be injection. They can drink it. And DMSO definitely should be used by all athletes, not only for things like knees, but also for the brain, which over long term, that can be a bigger problem than
for
a knee
football
injury.
players.
Yeah, football players should be treated after every game. They can apply it to the head and drink it, which would be helpful. And anyone who gets a concussion in a game should be treated immediately, not after the game, but they should be treated with an IV infusion immediately if it's an obvious concussion.
And the DMSO is safe.
It's safe.
Inexpensive, and again, it's used medically in tissue transplants,
Yes.
organ transplants.
Yes,
It's
as
used
a preservative.
today. It's used as a
Yeah, it's used today for that purpose.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. For those of you just tuning in to Here's to Your Health, we're speaking with Archie Scott, who is widely known for his long-standing work, influential work on the substance DMSO. And DMSO is derived from wood pulp. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so now, is it true that what is called MSM, which is sold in everywhere,
Yes.
is just a dry form of DMSO? Is that true?
Okay, it is derived from DMSO. And the advantage of MSM is the fact that it doesn't have the odor. The DMSO is more effective for many conditions.
It's much more effective. Yeah.
Yes. But if a person wants something similar
right.
and at the time does not want the odor, why MSM is definitely something they should use.
And if, let's say, someone like you, a runner, an athlete, how much MSM, what's the therapeutic dose?
It varies. You can start off with a relatively small dose, but you can go up to a real heavy dose without any harmful side effects.
You mean I'd start with 1 or 2 grams, but I could do 10,000 milligrams?
Yeah.
What's the upper number, in your opinion, that's effective?
Well, I don't think you have to go over, say, 10 grams.
10 is plenty.
Yeah.
Would that be in divided doses?
Yeah, I would take it in divided doses. Anything, you take some in the morning, some in the afternoon. But it's something that's completely safe.
Right.
Just like DMSO is completely safe. They say, 1 gram per kilogram of body weight, which is 1/1000th of your weight. And you can do that permanently.
I see.
There have been, DMSO is something that they had some rather extensive toxicology studies on, and it is extremely safe.
Right.
And
it's kind of a little bit of an underground item, isn't it? Because, I mean, you see it in natural food stores, but it's kind of a sleeper item. People do not know what it is largely.
Right. It's something that is not that well known. Not as well known as it should be. It should be something, in my opinion, that everybody should have in their medicine cabinet.
And the DMSO that we see in the natural food stores, is that manufactured in the United States?
Yes, most of it is manufactured here in the United States by the various pulp plants.
Oh, really? So the pulp plants in the United States actually manufacture it now because it's a side product for them.
It's a byproduct.
Byproduct.
And it's something that you can produce a huge quantity. They could produce as much as people could possibly want. This brings up an interesting point. I talked to one of the places where I might have bought a big quantity. This is shortly after the Fukushima problem over in Japan. And I asked them how many million pints they could provide me with. They said, well, we could provide you, we couldn't do it today, but within a matter of a few months, we could supply you with whatever you want. They could provide millions of pints of DMSO.
Well, because you are a specialist in this area, do you think that DMSO is helpful when his radiation exposure?
Definitely. There was a study done at Kyoto University in Japan. It was published in the Journal of Radiation Research in 2010. It was published less than a year before the problem.
Right.
And they found that the DMSO would help repair the double-strand breaks in the DNA. And before that, it was mostly thought that the DMSO's benefit was as a free radical scavenger, because a large amount of free radicals are formed when you get a large amount of radiation. But they found that it also had this direct effect on the DNA. And so everybody over there should be using DMSO. And also here, we're getting radiation
Right.
here from Fukushima. We
That
get
seems to
more
be the
than what
thinking,
the
right.
authorities recognize,
Mhm.
than what they admit.
And if someone wishes to use DMSO preventatively, or they feel therapeutically because there might be exposure to radiation, what is the effective dose in your opinion?
Well, you can use a small amount, but as I say, the 1 gram per kilogram of body weight, which is 1/1000th of your weight, is perfectly safe. And you can drink it, you can apply it topically, and it's completely safe that way.
And so in
you're
your-
not going to really use even 1 gram per kilogram generally, but it's safe to do that for every day for your life.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Archie Scott, it's been a great pleasure having you on my show. You're one of the authoritative men in the field of wellness. It's a great pleasure. You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. Thank you for tuning in.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.